To my left,
William Pearlstein.
Jan Conacy is absent today, excused absence,
Fred Townsend, Board Attorney.
Edith Heron.
Rick Perry.
and I am Barry Brandt. Our rules require that owners of properties within 200 feet of the properties in question are notified of the variance requests. Marco, was the public notified and the meeting properly posted?
Mr. Chairman, the city verifies that this meeting and the matters before the board were properly noticed as follows. The agenda for the Board of Adjustment regular meeting was posted in City Hall and on City Portal on October 13th, 2025, and amended and reposted on October 20th, 2025, and October 21st, 2025. Regarding case number 0925-09 for the property located at 112 Norfolk Street, the public notice was posted in City Hall and on the City Portal on October 7th, 2025. The public notice was published in the Cape Gazette on October 10th and October 14th, 2025, and in Delaware State News on October 10th and October 12th, 2025. Notification specific to this case was mailed out to property owner addresses within 200 feet of the subject property, and signage was posted on the property. Regarding case number 0925-10 for the property located at 116 Newcastle Street, the public notice was posted in City Hall and on the City Portal on October 7th, 2025. The public notice was published in the Cape Gazette on October 10th and October 14th, 2025, and in the Delaware State News on October 10th and October 12th, 2025. Notification specific to the case was mailed out to property owner addresses within 200 feet of the subject property, and signage was posted on the property. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the reading of the verification.
Thank you, Marco. I saw that we received at least one letter of correspondence. Did everyone on the board get a chance
Yes.
to review it?
Yes.
Okay. And Marco, did we get any last-minute emails or anything on any of these cases?
Nothing to share, Mr.
Okay, thank
Mr.
you.
Chair.
All right, we have one set of minutes to approve and a notice of decision. As far as the minutes, did everyone get a chance to review it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to approve the minutes of September 22nd, 2025?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. And we have one notice of decision that Fred prepared for us. Did everyone get a chance to review the notice of decision from September 2025?
Yes.
Yes.
May I have a motion to approve?
I move that we accept the notice of decision as presented.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay. Let's move on to our new business. Today, we have two cases to hear. Both cases involve a request for relief of the city zoning code through area variances. The board will apply quick check factors that Delaware law recognizes as guidance for boards of adjustment. Pursuant to Section 270-74 of the city zoning code, the Board of Adjustment is authorized to grant variances that are not contrary to public interest if a literal interpretation of a code or regulation will result in an exceptional practical difficulty to the owner, so that that the spirit of the zoning ordinance is observed, provided that such relief may be granted without substantially impairing the intent of the code. Under Delaware law, an applicant for an area variance must prove that the zoning requirements create an exceptional practical difficulty. To determine whether the exceptional practical difficulty exists, the board must weigh the following four factors: the nature of the zone where the property lies, the character and use of the immediate vicinity, whether removal of the restrictions on the applicant's property would seriously affect the neighboring properties and their uses, and finally, whether failure to remove the restriction would create an exceptional practical difficulty for the owners in relation to the owner's efforts to make normal improvements to the property. This standard is satisfied only when the difficulties alleged by the owner are practical rather than theoretical and exceptional rather than routine. Everyone today who wishes to speak will be required to give their testimony under oath. I will ask our counsel, Mr. Townsend, to administer the oath. We do not have a court reporter present, so if anyone, fails to speak into the microphone, we may stop them and ask them to repeat, just so it's clear, so that Marco can get proper record and recording of what is said. Is anyone here today wishing to speak other than the applicants? Anyone in the public wishing to speak? Okay. At that time, we will call you, at the proper time, we will call you up and have you sworn in to give your testimony. Public commentary is limited to 5 minutes or less. And after the public finishes speaking, we will close down the public portion, and then you will get to listen to the board discuss each case. And I would like to let the public know that occasionally you will see a board member using an electronic device. We are not using it to communicate emails, text messages. They're just using it to zoom in on diagrams on the materials. Many times they're very, very hard to read. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to our first case, case number 1. It's 112 Norfolk Street, and I'm going to turn it over to Corey.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Good afternoon, everyone. This is for case number 0925-09, or 112 Norfolk Street. The applicant is Christopher Hardy and Heather Wydra, represented today by a Peter Edmond of Peter E. Designs. The applicant seeks relief from the following 270-21B floor area ratio and 270-26 side yard setbacks. Normally, I would paraphrase, for the most part, the application background information, but I'd like to go through it because it did entail another viewing of mine that changed the way on how I calculated the numbers for this report when I had originally met with the applicant. And I'd just like to go through how those numbers came to be, and they reference the attachments. So the current property is located at 112 Norfolk Street and is situated in the R1 residential district. The parcel is a 50 by 100 foot rectangle containing 5,000 square feet. The applicant desires to construct an addition to an existing single-family dwelling. The intent is to build a foyer that will attach to the northwest portion of the house, placed between the driveway and the home. In addition to this, the applicant's desire to enlarge the steps and landing leading from the driveway front yard area to the foyer, as shown on the applicant's submitted proposed site plan. The existing home's FAR was calculated from a plan review sheet in the city's property file by a former building inspector. This was the result of a new home building permit application, which was approved by the city and picked up by the contractor on February 4th, 2004. Existing FAR calculations are shown to be 3,463 square feet. This amount was allowed at the time as the previous allowable limit was 0.7 of the first 5,000 square feet of gross lot area. Thus, the house is currently recognized as a legal nonconforming structure devoted to a conforming use. With the above statement being true at first glance, the addition of the new square footage required that the house must now be calculated with the city's current zoning code. Ordinance number 06-01, Exhibit A, which was adopted by Rehoboth Beach on August 7th, 2006, included new language, and this would be under Section 10 in that ordinance, providing for a 1,000 square foot exclusion from FAR for habitable basements per Section 270-21B2 in that ordinance. This section did not exist when the house was built, and therefore the basement's entire square footage was included in the total FAR calculation. This habitable basement FAR exclusion section is known in our current zoning code as Section 270-21B1B. With the adoption of the ordinance and now preparing a full review of the house as FAR, a new calculation is required under the current code. I won't read out the math in here, but essentially the current FAR is calculated with the 1,000 square foot exclusion to be 2,705 feet, which exceeds the allowable limit by 205 feet. Not going into the specific reasons as to why it's that limit. The applicant seeks a new 40 square foot foyer, which if added to the existing 205 square foot above allowable FAR limit would require a total variance of approximately 245 square feet. It is noted that a pergola style covering of an additional approximately 40 square feet extends above the proposed landing and steps. If the pergola is to remain, an additional FAR would be added to that of the foyer, and some to be approximately 80 square feet. It is the recommendation of the BNL that this pergola be removed if it is not the intention to ask for FAR beyond the foyer. The applicant also seeks a side yard setback variance due to the aggregate required of 16 feet would be diminished to approximately 14 feet, as shown on the proposed site plan. Although 27042 permits entries to encroach yard areas by 24 inches, this has never been permitted to enclosed habitable space within a home, but for open porticos and landings of the sort. A natural area for the property is shown to be 47% from the as-built survey conducted at the time of the new home completion in 2005. The survey provided by the applicant dated October 28th, 2024 provides no significant changes. The applicant has noted that the addition of the foyer and the new landing and steps and slight modification to the driveway will comply with the minimum 50% natural area required. Under the variances requested in the next section, I don't want to repeat myself, but just so to reiterate, if they do not want the pergola to be included, a variance of 245 square feet would be required. If they do want the pergola to be included, 285 square feet. Also, for the side yard setback, a variance of 2 feet from the aggregate minimum of 16 feet would be required. So again, not to reiterate in the conclusion, but to conclude, based on the information submitted, the Board of Adjustment must determine whether the proposal satisfies the variance criteria established by the City Code, including whether an exceptional practical difficulty exists, whether the requested relief represents the minimum modification necessary, and whether the conditions leading to the request are unique to the property or not the result of actions by the applicant. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you, Corey. I'll open up to the board to ask questions to Corey.
Of course, I have some.
Of course. So do I.
Yeah, I imagine many of us do. When was the house built? Was that 2005? Am I reading correctly?
Correct. I have under here from the survey, the house was permitted, I should
Permitted
say.
in 2004.
And picked up on February 2004.
But it was actually built 2005.
It was completed, I
Completed.
believe, in 2005.
Okay. And were they when was it purchased by Hardy and Wydra?
That I do not have in my report, but I'm sure the applicant can
I'll
answer
ask
that
the
question.
applicant. There seems to be, the applicant has included what they call a home addition permit from 2004. Is that, and they talked about the city plan review approval. This is that, it's in the packet from the applicant. Much of it is handwritten.
Correct.
Can you tell me what this is? I can ask them too, but I wanted to ask you.
Yes, that was one. So during the due diligence from the applicant's representative, he went through the property file, and that was the plan review calculations performed by the building inspector during plan review for the
Initial
permit.
build.
Correct.
For the initial build.
Correct.
So, okay, so even.
And there was quite a bit of back and forth. I didn't include all that in here, but just for your general knowledge, there was more stuff shown. There were more structures. There was an outdoor storage unit, a shed, or an accessory building with a large deck that would to be attached to that accessory building. During plan review and during the subsequent construction phase, that was all removed. So that they could remain in the permitted FAR at the time, which was
Right.
0.7.
So the stamp on here of received September 16, 25 is just that it was received with this application.
Correct.
But this is actually back from 2004.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Thank you. Let's see. So is there any feeling that their 2004, 2005 plan was, with the city ordinance changing in August 2006, so just not that long after their home was completed. I'd look at this and I'd say that this plan would not be approved today as is, correct? Because it's legal nonconforming right now, just the way it lives.
Even if they had the 1,000 square foot
Right.
basement exclusion, they'd still be over by 200.
Right, they'd be over by the 205 feet, right, today, if they were trying to build the exact same property. Do you know how many, from the diagram, it looks to me that there are 2 external entrances and exits. Again, I can ask the applicant these same questions. It looked like there's one that is the one they want to change, and there's one around the back, kind of.
Correct. It would seem like it was a split level. And in Building Inspector Exhibit B is the plan set that I pulled from Architectural Design Incorporated that was submitted with the new home. And in that exhibit is shaded what I deem floor area versus not. And there's it's actually a basement the way we defined it back then and the way we define it today based off of their sections, their elevations. But there's a lower entry, and then there's an entry to the ground floor, or the first floor, if you will. And that's the entry that they are seeking to modify.
So the entry, again, I'm referring to from the packet, guys, back here. This is a lower entry, is that what you're saying? I'm on the True North one that's handwritten at the top, proposed. It's from the applicant's information, but it's the one that has the red and the yellow on it, Corey.
Correct.
There's
Yeah, I believe that there is I see it here, the proposed. There is a landing and steps right behind that one, and that one takes you down to the lower level. I believe the landing and the steps in the rear of the property is at grade.
Okay.
And that takes you down because there was a stipulation in the original permit that deck patio could be no more than 3 feet from the ground, from grade.
I see.
They didn't want to have an elevated deck. They were worried about floor area ratio concerns back when this came in. So they had that moved down, which is presumably why they have the landing steps down to that lower deck now.
So are there 3 entries then, and they're all on that?
I'll let the applicant verify,
okay.
but that's what I see.
That's what you
correct.
see. That's what you see, are 3. And to your knowledge, are any of them wider than any others? Or are they all standard door? I found it a little bit frustrating here, as there are some measurements on some drawings, but there aren't explicit measurements on all the drawings for us to understand.
The only set of real plans, full house plans that I had are in Exhibit B.
Okay.
And it showed the 2 front entrances towards the front of the house are both single swing doors, and then the rear is a sliding glass door.
Okay.
Or a French door. We can let the applicant state
Yes, of
which
course.
one,
I'll ask the same
But it does
question.
seem wider in the rear.
Okay, so yes, that was my guess too, that it was a wider opening in that position. A few more things. Thanks for your patience. Now, what about the FAR? The application did not mention FAR. Was that because they weren't aware of it? As far as you know, they weren't asking for the letter from Mr. Edmund. The overview doesn't mention FAR, I don't think, or
I'll let him speak to that. I believe the intent was for floor area ratio.
okay.
I have here request to add foyer to home impacted FAR.
Yeah, he does say FAR, excuse me, but his number is not quite right.
It will be different than mine, and that is
Yes.
partially for me to blame, because when he was doing his due diligence, we looked at it through the lens of the former building
Okay.
inspector. But then when I was doing my due diligence in this, I came across the fact that the ordinance had passed in 2006, and they had never taken advantage of a 1,000 square foot basement credit.
Basement.
But I'd be forced to do that now because it's under a full zoning review.
And is it your understanding that with the variance, with the side yard, the left side would remain 6 feet, but the right side will go to 8.6? Is
Correct.
that
To my understanding, the left side, as you would say, is not impacted by this, by
Right.
the improvements.
So the right will drop 2 feet lower, so it'll be 14?
Correct.
The side yard setback will be 14 rather than 16?
The aggregate total would be 14
Will be
feet.
14. So it's like 8.6 on one side and 6 on the other, or something like that?
Correct.
Okay. Are there any other issues about this potential variance that you saw, other than the FAR as expressed and the side yard? The natural area is all right, and the
Correct. No, the only thing
lot
that we
coverage?
would, the only thing that we would do is, during plan review, is to ensure we had a survey that came in, a proposed conditions survey, and that met the lot coverage natural area requirements, which the applicant states that they can. And it seems appropriate that they still will meet those requirements.
Using the October 2024 survey, which we're all referring to, do you feel that that's still accurate as to current conditions, or has anything changed since it's a year old?
Excuse me.
I mean, does your
Looking
office?
at the 2024, the only small discrepancy I could see was in the as-built from 2005. There was some small AC condenser units
Okay.
located in the rear.
So essentially, even though we're looking at a survey that was performed a year ago?
Other than that, there have, it doesn't, I think I had that in my report. There have been no substantial changes or anything like that.
That's my question, and there's the answer. Did the applicant discuss any alternatives with you that were more compliant of any other?
Not in the sense of the foyer, but I believe in the sense of the driveway. I had made some comments that would also affect natural area.
Right.
And so one of the things that they didn't intend to do, I believe at first, what we talked about was
Change
the driveway currently extends very
Right,
deep
past.
into the lot, and they were going to remove a large portion of that to help keep the natural area at 50% or more.
Okay. That's everything that I have right now. Thank you.
Thank you,
Barry.
Edie. Rick, you have any questions?
Edie covered all mine.
Okay.
We don't even talk,
we
we
didn't
never
even talk
talk
to each
about
other.
cases in advance,
Bill?
ever.
Can you talk about the pergola issue, Corey, that you raised? What is the issue? What's the, if they, why is it different if they have the pergola, and what happens if they remove it?
Well, based off of, past Board of Adjustment cases and as well as building and licensing zone interpretation now, a pergola constitutes a covering. And while it's explicitly stated in commercial districts and not explicitly stated in residential districts, we don't use the term roof, we use the term covering for floor area ratio of elements underneath, including those that are unimproved. And so it's been the interpretation from the building and licensing standpoint, as well as, I believe the board, I think the last case was 11.5 Henlopen Avenue, which was in 2023, that a pergola would constitute floor area ratio for the area underneath of it. And if we include the pergola, it covers the way that the design is shown, the proposed design, then we'd also have to include that area in the floor area ratio calculation.
It's basically because the pergola, it covers a greater coverage than just the landing, the proposed landing steps.
The foyer ends, and then you'd have the door to the landing and steps, but the landing and steps then would be covered by the pergola. And so I wasn't sure if that was the intent. I would let the applicant or his representative, their representative, speak on that. But if they would seek the pergola, then it would be an additional approximately 40 square feet.
Is a
40.
pergola considered to be
Pergola's 40,
a
so is the foyer.
encroachment into the setback? If
The pergola would be, the way I saw it on their plans, would be essentially flush with the edge of the foyer. And so whether it be the pergola or the foyer area, it would encroach on that aggregate setback by 2 feet. So it would essentially take the 10-foot setback down to 8 feet. It does not encroach the front yard area. I did look at that.
It doesn't add to the encroachment, it actually adds to how much is in the encroachment.
Correct, yeah, it would be how much is in the encroachment.
How much bulk, how much bulk is added to the
exactly.
encroachment? Yes, yes.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you.
Okay. Corey, the images shown with the pavers, they're going to reduce the, it looks like 3 or 4 car driveway down. That entire measurement of the pavers, that was included in the calculations for the natural area, correct? So they're still compliant.
Correct. And through the review process, since they're not seeking a variance here, we would require any other modification to meet those requirements before issuing a permit.
Okay. And is the encroachment of the foyer into the 10-foot setback, does that impact the ability to park cars? Is there anything specific where it would be hazardous, or do we need certain measurements? You know, we all look at driveway treads, but is there anything further that we have to worry about for the car? In other words, does it make it dangerous to have that foyer, you know, encroaching into what it would normally be left for the 10-foot driveway area? I don't think there's anything in code on that. It's just, it's more of a safety issue.
No, you're correct.
You know?
That would require a 9-foot width for a veecle.
So we do need 9-foot width for, and we don't have that.
Correct.
Okay, thank you, because I was unaware of the
Correct.
9-foot width.
No, thank you for bringing that up.
You know.
ADA allows for 8 feet. Our code says 9 feet.
9 foot. Okay.
Yeah.
So can you explain what that means on the surveys or on the pictures?
What that means is there is a reduction of 1 foot in width for that section of parking. Because our zoning code requires a 9-foot width, a 9 by 18 feet for parking, and you need 2 of them per house. And this would then encroach the vehicle space by 1 foot.
Okay, so that means that they're basically not compliant with that provision?
Correct.
We would need a variance
This
for that
is-
as well, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Is there
I apologize. This
room
is
for a parking spot behind the proposed new structure and in front of the new proposed structure?
it widens out. You need 18 feet. A car would be able to fit 18 feet presumably in front, but that section where the foyer and the landing, if it were to encroach and only give 8 feet in width, would reduce the required parking by 1 foot.
Right, but they're required to have 2 off-street parking
Right.
Correct.
spaces. So do they still have room for 2 off-street parking spaces if they're granted this variance and can construct that foyer by utilizing the area behind and in front of the foyer?
So from our code, off-street parking, correct, is 9 by 18. And what our code says is that vehicles shall be able to safely have ingress and egress for those parking spaces. Perhaps while you have the applicant speak, I'll verify that to see if there's a 9 by 18 space available in the front and in the rear, if the 9 feet in width would affect the intermediate area.
So the ingress is the important keyword here, the fact that you need 9 foot to have the ingress to get, if, I see where Fred was going, to that back space, you have to be able to pass through. I mean, I'm always worried about, you know, service trucks, you know, the termite inspect, they zip their trucks in and take out these steps, you know, as a safety issue. Okay, thank you. And, okay, they were my 2 questions. Anyone else before?
I had one more,
Okay.
if I may. Corey, in your opinion, are there other entryways that could perhaps be constructed? Or is that conjecture and I need to ask the applicant?
Yeah.
May I ask that?
I have the same questions, but I was going to ask the applicant.
Okay, I can wait and ask, yeah. I wonder, I can ask them what they're considering, but I wondered if from your perspective, in sitting in the code all the time, are there other options? You don't even have to say what they are.
There's always options.
Yeah,
It would be, yeah, I see options available for that, but this is the one they're showing.
Right, this is the one that they chose to ask us about.
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you for the answer. That's all that I had, Barry, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Edie. At this time, I'd like to bring up Mr. Edmond, if he's here. Thank you. Have a seat. And Mr. Townsend will swear you in.
I'm going to pull this down.
Mr. Edmond, the way we begin is, am I turning, okay. The way we begin is to ask for your name for the record and your address, and then I'll administer the oath.
Okay, so it's Peter Edmond, and the address is 32226 Brandon Circle, Mithbar, DE 19966.
Very good. Mr. Edmond, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a presentation for us, or?
Well, Corey did a pretty good job at going through what we are asking for. So I think we could go straight to your
Right, the
questions.
questions, okay.
So for the record, you don't quibble with any of the factual representations that Mr. Shinko just made?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right, we will open it up to questions. Rick or Edie, you want to start?
Sure. I asked Corey that some of these will be the same questions. When did the Hardy and Wydra purchase that home?
Last year, December.
So that would be summer of 2024?
Winter of 2024.
Winter, okay. I thought you said summer. Excuse me, that probably didn't. Winter of 2024, okay. And can you tell me about the location and measurements of all of the exits, the exterior exits?
Okay, so there are three.
Okay,
And they're all single doors, 3 feet each. There's one to the basement, one that leads to the second floor or the main level, and then there's an exit from the kitchen on the back. I think on your drawings you may be seeing a sliding door. That sliding door originally was meant to go out to a deck that would have been on the second floor.
can you
there's
help,
no-
can you help me and tell me which of the three you're talking about? Obviously, one of them is the one that, okay,
So while you're here, you can simply point to what it is. But you're going to have to go back to the microphone in order to testify.
Corey will put it up on the screen.
okay, great, that's the best way, thank you.
Yeah, just give us a second.
Yeah,
Edie, do you want to move to another question?
sure, I can do that.
Okay.
What I want, and I wanted to know, let's see, your letter, your summary letter, just a minute here, mentioned a number that I couldn't match. It was 3473, 3473 square feet was the current FAR, and I thought it was 34, just a minute, I found a different one, slightly different, not much, but it wasn't, just a minute here. Yeah, it's 30, it was 34 or 3863. That was on the original. I don't know if that's a typo, I'm not sure, but your letter mentioned, thank you.
Okay.
30, well, maybe it was just a typo.
Yes, I think it may have been.
I'm a number checker, for better or worse, I guess. So that's probably just typo?
I can answer that question.
Yes, great.
When Peter was going through this with me, doing his due diligence, I put the star there to show him that's what I wanted him to look at.
Oh, I see.
In a copy of it.
Okay. That is the one that's asterisk, because that,
Correct,
okay.
yeah, that was the one that I wanted him to remember after he left.
Okay. And you're aware that the current FAR is overage, 205 square feet, and that's about 8% over the allowed.
I am now.
Okay, fair enough. Okay. Let's see, and you're going to show me the entries. And if the variance is granted, are you and the applicant willing to drop the pergola, or have you not yet decided one way or the other, waiting for what we were going to say?
Well, we would be willing to drop the pergola. The purpose of it was pretty much providing weather shading for the door, making it functional if you got in, opening your door to go in, just to keep rain, snow off the area. So that was the main purpose of having the pergola there. However, if the variance is granted and the pergola has to be sacrificed, we'd be willing to do that.
Okay, that's a clear answer. And it's not going to be a problem to comply with natural area and lot coverage, no matter how things might work out, again, if the variance is granted in some form?
No, it wouldn't be.
Okay. And what FAR compliant or more compliant options have you and your client looked at once you found out that there were issues with this particular set of thoughts?
Well, one thing we looked at was the materials we used, for instance, on the driveway to make sure that those were permeable, would still allow for good grass to grow. And then when we were looking at the extension for the foyer, there was a second option that I had proposed, which would include putting stairs up to the main entrance and entering the building through a set of windows that are there right now. The thing with that, it would increase the floor area that we would have to use to accomplish it,
Okay,
as well as it would be much more costly.
sure. So you did look at a second option,
Yes, we did.
and that would have given you the wider entry area
Yes, it would have accomplished that.
because you were going to use essentially two windows.
Yes, two windows.
So you had almost double size.
Edie, before you leave that, would that go up to where the
That would go up
bedrooms
to the
are,
main
or
floor.
down to the family room?
No, up to the main floor where the bedrooms are.
Okay, thank you.
That was all I had, other than what we're going to clarify here. Thank you for
Okay.
your time.
So,
Thank you, Edie. Rick? Yeah,
We're going to look at the...
I'll just-
Oh, yeah, that's right, you had another, go ahead. So you have to finish your question then, right?
Yes, what I wanted to
okay.
know what each of the entries are, and approximate size of each, and where they are, which is which, so we're clear about the entrances and exits to and from the building.
So the main one is located here.
Right.
It's 3 foot, but it opens up into a 3 by 3.
I don't know if, excuse me, I don't know if we'll be able to get your Marco.
Is there a mic over
That mic
there?
will go with you.
Yeah.
And you can use this here.
You have to stand at the podium.
There we go.
There we go.
Thank you.
All right.
That's all right.
So the main entry, which is the one we want to modify, is right here. It's a 3 foot in-swing door, and it literally opens up into a 3 foot by 3 foot landing before you hit the stairs. So it's there, which is the reason we want to make that change, because there's really no easy functioning once the door is open for you to mount the stairs safely. The second one is here, and it's on the lower level,
Your mouse so I can see where you are there. Oh, there, okay, got it, thank you.
and it's on the lower level, so it leads to the basement. And it is also a single in-swing 3 feet door. And then the third is located on the main level. It's an exit from the kitchen, and that is also a 3 foot door
And where is that again? Can you wiggle your mouse?
right here.
Is in the back.
It's in the back.
On the left, you can
Kind of in an L, in the L?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
There are sliding glass doors here, and I think originally right here,
please? You say here, but,
where I'm dragging.
I'll look at this one. Oh, okay, sliding there, okay, great, thanks.
But those were originally supposed to go out to a deck area at that level, which is not there So there are railings there, but that door actually does not give you entry or exit to the building.
So is there a railing that runs across?
Yes, there's a railing that runs
Right
across.
across the
Yes,
the windows?
right across the doors. Yeah.
Okay, so just to be clear, what's the deck that is showing here doesn't exist, is that right?
The deck that is showing there, yes, that does exist, but that's on the ground level.
Oh. The sliding doors were intended to be another deck?
On another deck.
Okay, all right. Thanks, gotcha.
So the solarium exists, but that's up a level, correct?
Could you
sol-
repeat that?
The solarium does
Sunroom.
exist.
Does exist, yes.
Okay,
But it's
but
on
that's
another
up a
But it's
level.
higher.
Yes.
Okay. It's very hard, these multi-level homes.
So the sliding glass doors, is that the area that you spoke to me a few minutes ago when I asked about other options? Are those the windows that you're talking about, or what are the windows that you're speaking of?
No, there are double windows right here on the main level.
Okay, right.
So it would require our reconfiguring the sunken deck area and then doing stairs coming up here, and those windows are right in this area.
But those look like they're much more inset for a side yard situation
Yes,
and a driveway or parking space. Anyway, I think he's clarified everything I have right this minute. Might come back. Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Edie. Rick, any questions?
Is the need for the variance to put in a new foyer, was that need known at the time that the property was purchased? Or has something led to this new development that you need to request it?
Well, I can't speak to if it was known at the time the property was purchased, but it was one of the first hardships the clients mentioned to me once I got on board.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions at this time.
Thank you, Rick. Bill, any questions?
The standard we're dealing with is exceptional practical difficulty. I don't know if you've done variances before this board, but the legal standard is exceptional practical difficulty for the owner in relation to their efforts to make normal improvements to the character of the property. You are talking about encroaching into the setback. So talk to us about what's the exceptional practical difficulty? Why is it that we should be allowing your clients to get a variance from what the city has otherwise said are the required setbacks for properties throughout the city?
Okay.
What is it that makes this different than anybody else? Because I bought my house the same time this house was built under the .7 zoning, so you're already higher than anybody can build a house today in terms of density, by a lot, as is my house. So you're already there, and now you're saying, I want more FAR, and I want to go into the setback, which, because it runs with the land, will be there for anybody who buys that house from your clients in the future. So the standard is a high one, exceptional practical difficulty. You've not really addressed that. And so I think for us to be able to talk about this when we get into session, you need to give us something pretty concrete in terms of exceptional practical difficulty for variances on two quite important aspects of the zoning laws here, the total FAR and the setbacks.
Okay. So first, I'd like to say, it's a safety issue because right now it's very difficult to enter and leave the house because you come up the flight of stairs, you swing that door in, and the door pretty much swings into the first riser on the stair leading to the main level. So just the act of trying to close that door, you're climbing stairs to get out of the way of the door swing, to come back down to push it. The same thing happens when you're going out of the house and you pull the door open, you're actually backing up on the steps to come back down to close it. The clients have dogs, which complicate matters. And just hopping out of your shoe or finding somewhere to hang a coat or rest a handbag, it's virtually impossible. And as they age, it will become even more difficult and even a bigger challenge for them to safely get in and out of the house. So that was reason number one, is thinking about how safely can you get into this house and out of this house in a manner that's comfortable and safe. The second justification of, so that's the main justification of enlarging that space, that it becomes more user-friendly and practical, which it does not have at this point in time. The solution proposing then was to enlarge that space. Now, the only way to actually enlarge that space is to increase the foyer size, which would give them a clear area to open the door, take care of necessary things before having to go up or on their way out through the doors. And that's the practical reasons for doing it. Doing it also adds to the aesthetics of the house as a fringe benefit, in that right now the house does not have a clearly defined entry. The door is pretty much a back door. So it doesn't have a clearly defined entry. And this addition would give it a clearly defined entry, and improve elevation, and a better street appeal as well.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying in terms of the size of the door, though. You know, it was obviously a decision by the prior owners who built it in 2004 with 0.7 FAR to build it that way without a clearly defined front door. But are there options? I'm just looking at the plans on the interior. Are there options, if this were denied, are there options in terms of things that can be done interior, not getting into the setback, that would obviously be more expensive, but that would, you know, address the issues you talked about in terms of having greater space coming into the door?
Okay, so we looked at what we could do within the existing footprint. One of the control factors we'd have is the floor levels from the existing entry to where we'd actually get to the main entry. And we would not have enough space to safely run stairs there. So it necessitated our moving outside of the structure. The only other solution we could find was that second option I mentioned of actually doing stairs on the outside. And that itself has some challenges because there's a sunken basement there, and clearance for headroom to go both down and up would still require that we would have been applying for a variance for that 2-foot encroachment. That the only difference is it would not have had a covered structure within it. It would just have been a part of the stairs. But we would still have been applying for that variance to be able to develop the second option as well.
Right, thank you, those are my questions.
Thank you, Bill. All right,
Mr. Chair, can I
Go ahead, Rick.
Just follow on to Bill's points. Bill, I was sort of thinking the same thing, you know, aren't there alternatives to build into the house rather than out? And I guess you're telling us that that isn't practical to do. And this may be a stupid question. Can you reverse the way the door opens so that it's not blocking the stairs when it's open?
We could reverse the way the door opens, yes, but we'd still be dealing with a 3 by 3 foot footprint, which is still very difficult to maneuver. And
But you wouldn't have the difficulty of having to start up the stairs before you could close the door to the outside.
true, but it would also limit having a functional foyer between getting the dogs in and out, going in with groceries. Right now, it's even a challenge moving furniture in through the main door. We've got to be moving furniture in through the basement and then take it up a whole flight. So even that creates a challenge.
Okay, and alternatively, and I don't know what the room layout is in the home, but did you consider moving this entrance to the front of the building rather than the side? And that would solve your problem with respect to the width of the driveway. And I don't know, Corey, you'd have to tell us whether or not that could be done. Is it encroaching into the front yard setback? But, I mean, if we were to grant the variance, I'd feel a lot more comfortable encroaching perhaps a little bit into the front if it were absolutely necessary, rather than creating the situation on the side that's being created.
So because of the layout, the basement is a partial basement, and then right above the basement is a bedroom, which is under a sloping ceiling. So the exterior knee wall to that bedroom is literally 4 feet. So it creates a challenge putting anything in the front, because we'd, if in effect need to come up to the second level, we would have to sacrifice that bedroom to be able to enter, and it would not give a really natural flow into the house, because then we would be ending up in this bedroom with a 90-degree corridor down another 90-degree corridor to get to the rest of the house. So, and we'd still have to come a pretty good way forward, because in putting the stairs to get to the main level, then we'd also have to pretty much reconfigure what's happening in the basement as well.
And so, one other question about the proposed addition. With the addition, does the door that is pictured there above the stairs, will that be the only door entry into that area? Or is the door that is there now still going to remain?
Well, it would be the only door entry into that area. The door that is there now would be removed, and it would be a wider opening leading up to the stairs.
Does the new addition have to be as wide? Do you have any flexibility there?
We would like it to be that wide for the purposes that it would be more comfortable to use. A 3 foot door swinging in with, because actually the addition right now is 5 feet, which would really leave us with 4 feet 6 inches at max as usable floor space on the inside. So if we took that down to 4 feet, then we are at a 3 foot 6 inches usable space, which, even though it is deeper, it still would be a little bit uncomfortable to work with. So if we needed to pull it in, I would love to maintain at least a minimum of a 4-foot clear usable floor space on the interior.
But right now, it's 5'6" is what.
Right, no, right now it's 5.
It's 5? Oh, it's 5.
Right now it's 5.
4.6 is usable.
Yes,
correct?
but 4.6 would be usable.
That's why I think he said if it was 4 feet, only 3.6 would be usable.
Only 3.6 would be usable.
You'd lose some in the,
Added to the existing space.
If I may, if it was 4 feet, then that would have the 9-foot parking.
Yes.
right. I thought of that too.
And which way do you have the door, the new door, which direction is that opening into this area?
Well, the new door is right now swinging in, but we could swing it out.
Right, to the right or to the left?
It is swinging into the left.
Left, you can,
Okay. But you could have it swinging into the right and do away with, that side light panel and still have a pretty good size entry
Yes,
combined with the existing.
yes, when come back. Well, the thing with the combining it with the existing, because it's put in at a different angle than the existing, you still have to make a turn to go up to the stairs. Opening up the entry to go to the stairs makes it more comfortable to go up the stairs, but it does not really make the 3-foot landing at the front of the space easily added to what we're adding on now. It makes the flow easier and safer, but it would not be it would not merge completely, so to speak, with the space we're adding on. So the space we're adding on needs to operate in its own safe, comfortable space before ascending the steps. So the side light is not like an important thing for us. What would be the most important thing is keeping a minimum usable space on the interior.
I mean, I understand what you're saying about, perhaps the furniture moving in. I bought a 1914 house and, I had virtually the same situation. I mean, there was a bigger problem than this, but there's a way to handle that. I mean, if you have decent movers, they know what to do. I'm really troubled, I guess, by the, what's left for the driveway usage. Okay, I don't have any other.
Thank you.
And sorry.
Okay.
And just to let you know, as a part of doing this, we did peg the structure out and actually test if we could pass to get to the back. So we know that it's doable. I know there are laws and ordinances that you have to abide by. But we did that as a test before proposing it to make sure that it would work.
Excuse me, a test for what? The driveway?
For the driveway.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, as far as we can give a variance to the city code, I don't think we can give a variance over ADA.
No.
I mean, that would come right back on us. Okay, Mike, thank you, Rick. So you did consider front entrances to the ground level or a front entrance to the main level? Both of those?
Yes, and those were the least feasible of the options.
Okay, did you consider going straight in from the front where the bathroom is and relocating the bathroom to where the staircase is?
No.
Okay. That would be a direct, straight shot, no 90 degrees into the home. Another question, I look at first level plan A-2 in the diagram. And I see the, right where it says the word entry, it looks like a landing up top. Okay? Did you let's get the picture up there. That one, yes. And where it says entry, so the stairs go up, it's not a full 13-step flight, I'm assuming. Did you consider just rebuilding the staircase?
Yes, we considered that option.
Okay, and why doesn't that work? That way you get much more space when you come in the door, and you have room, and you're not adding a new foundation, you're not adding a new roof, I know it doesn't address the aesthetic one, but aesthetics are very hard to prove as a hardship. But it does take care of the practical difficulty of, I'm in agreement with you on coming in with groceries in the rain and all. It's not, and you have no place to walk up the steps, all that. Can you, Corey, you're better, can they just move the staircase back and give themselves a nice landing inside the front door?
Okay. It would still require some amount of encroaching and some reworking of the lower area, because where that step is currently is not completely accurate to what's on site right now. But yes, and that's why when we looked at an option of actually entering through the second floor by building a second set of staircases on the outside, demolishing the interior ones, and then extending the bedroom space into what that space was. And as I said there, the thing is we would have been applying for the 2 feet encroachment just for the stairs. But it's also a costlier project, which my clients would rather not undertake.
Yeah, I'm simply saying, and maybe we're talking two different ideas here. What I see there, not colored in, can just be shifted in this diagram upwards. Get rid of that landing at the top before you go into the hallway, into the bedrooms or the living room, and simply move it in.
Yeah. Well, what happens there now is because of the roof line.
Okay.
Once we push any landing further out, right, we're going to lose the headroom to go up, because let me see if I can.
I'm saying further in, not out, further into the building, so you would gain headroom, correct?
No,
And we shouldn't be designing here, I know.
Yeah,
but I'm just-
we'd have to move it. We'd have to move it out rather than in.
Okay, I'm not.
Yeah, because
I'm not following. I'm sorry. You go to the microphone if you could and use the mouse.
okay, so presently the stairs starts on this line.
Oh, see, I'm thinking that's a landing there.
No, presently it starts on this line. It comes down here. It ends right here, and then you've got your 3-foot area.
It appears to be a landing. Okay, so that's my apologies on that. Just the way the diagram. Question for. Go ahead, Fred.
No, that's fine.
Question for you: to prove the hardship? Why didn't you include photographs of the interior?
Of the interior.
Yes.
I should have.
It's just like Okay. 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 You did that. And the other question is, it's over FAR now. You're going to add more over FAR. Did you discuss with your clients reducing the FAR in other areas, like on the deck, the upper deck? Did you have that conversation
Well,
to help out?
there's no upper deck. There's no upper deck now, and I didn't have that conversation because we were working on the assumption of the FAR calculated before, and not the one Corey discovered.
So there is no, in that diagram is
yeah.
incorrect. There is no upper deck.
Yeah, there's no upper deck.
Okay.
Is there the main deck? The main deck, does that exist, and does that have stairs down?
Yes,
going
they're
up?
they're the
This is the deck that the city required them to push down to only be 3 feet from grade.
I see that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
But where are the
got it.
stairs? Are there stairs?
so the stairs for that are right here. And then that is the existing deck.
Okay. Okay.
And does that, just where, the upper deck doesn't exist, but
So the upper deck doesn't exist.
where there's the arrow below the kitchen pointing towards Norfolk Street, are those stairs now?
No. There are no stairs there. So the stairs that are there, there's a single door where the double door is off the kitchen. There's a single door, and then there's stairs out there leading down towards the side of the house.
Okay, so what would be and is it feasible, and again, I'm reading off 2004 plans, for the entrance to be onto that main deck and then in through the back? Because that wouldn't require, that is all there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's all there. It's just that it's a single door right now.
Okay, but I don't know whether, it showed that there was going to be a double door. Is there room, again, trying to avoid having to do more encroachment? That doesn't require any encroachment. Cost your clients more money, understood that. But that, we're again talking about exceptional practical difficulty. Is there an entrance there, which is off where people would be parking? I understand the curb appeal issue, which is not exceptional practical difficulty, to be honest. Is there a way to enter there, and so you're entering off the main deck into the kitchen instead of what you're proposing?
Well, that entry exists. I just don't think they would want to use it as a main entry to the house.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay. Fred, did you have a question before?
Mr. I'm thinking I need to push this. I need to not push it. Mr. Pearlstein asked about your burden to establish an exceptional practical difficulty. You also have a burden to establish that there's no impact or minimal impact on any neighboring properties. And for the record, can you speak to that?
Yes.
Are you aware of any complaints that have been raised, or has anyone addressed this or voiced an objection to your proposal?
No, not that I'm aware of.
And as far as whether there would be any impact in your estimation, can you speak to that at all?
I don't think it would impact. There's only one neighbor to the side, and everything that would be done would be clear of their space.
Corey, were you able during this presentation to address the parking issue? Because we don't want to go and approve something that raises ADA parking issues.
Yeah. First, I'll speak to the building code. We use ANSI standards, the ICCA 117.1 from 2017 as part of our code. That's accessibility standards, minimum widths for all parking areas for those spaces, and this mimics ADA as well, as 8 feet wide. Per our own code, in 270-30, it says every parking space on the premise shall consist of not less than 162 square feet of usable area for each vehicle. The dimensions thereof shall be not less than 9 feet wide by 18 feet in length. Number C, though, says the required parking areas that they just talked about shall be measured exclusive of interior driveways or maneuvering areas. So there's that there, where if you can fit 2 9 by 18, we see this sometimes with people who put gates up and then the cars go back, the gate could encroach. The other thing I just wanted to mention was there's an existing parking pad right now. They have existing parking. If you, for interior renovations, the way the applicability of the article states is that if you add more gross floor area, then the amount of parking spaces you have to add is for that amount added, but this is a single-family home, so we're not adding to that. The second section of the applicability is that if 75% or more of the house is altered, then that takes effect. Now, one could say that they are, in removing the entire driveway, if they put a new driveway back down, it would have to be code compliant. What I would point out is, based off of this, if two 9x18 size spaces can fit on the lot, those should be measured exclusive of interior driveways or maneuvering areas. So what I would recommend is that 4 feet, you can get the 9 feet wide, 4 feet wide foyer to keep the 9 feet wide, or they maintain just the existing driveway if this doesn't affect it. There is on the proposed survey, I think that's why I didn't look at it, because it just showed the shaded region of the driveway that's already there, that's already existing. If they don't touch it, or they only remove 50% or less, then it can remain as an existing structure on the property, even though our own definition of structure excludes driveways.
So you're saying two 9x18s, kind of one in the front, then the addition, and then a 9x18 behind it would meet code, city
Based
code.
off of 270-30, letter C, the required parking area shall be measured exclusive of interior driveways or maneuvering areas.
So, yeah.
As long as they didn't have to remove 50% or more of the
That's where we-
existing driveway to meet lot coverage or natural area, right?
Correct. So that when it's a non-conforming structure, you can keep it as long as you don't remove more than
change.
50% of it.
Right.
And if they have 2 drive strips now, you can add to that. We frequently allow people to do that for their houses. You can add to it, you just can't remove more than 50%. And that's from Article 6, nonconformity.
But wasn't that one of the thoughts that the applicants have, of making sure that lot coverage natural area remains in compliance? Was to
Correct.
take some of that driveway
Was
out.
to remove some.
To remove the driveway, a lot, not all of it, but to remove enough of it so that they stayed in compliance.
Correct. So I would say, if I had to conclude this into a couple bullet points, if they remove the entire driveway, we'll have to make sure that they put it back in compliance.
Right.
Based off of the code, they need 2 9x18. Those parking areas, though, are measured exclusive from, not including the driveway itself or interior maneuvering. Our ANSI standards say 8 feet wide. That's just so you have that to work with. But for the 270-30, what we see here is that if it's 2 9x18 feet parking spaces exclusive of the driveway, they would meet 270-30 for properties used for single-family dwellings. We'd want to see that in future plans to show. Okay. Because I believe the current driveway right now is not compliant for the 9x18, the way it's shown on the survey.
Right. And it seems from when I went and looked at the property, I only ever stand on the sidewalks and look at these properties, but it seemed like, as I recall, the majority of the driveway is to the back behind where the projected entryway change would be made.
Correct.
It isn't the reverse, that most of the driveway is closer to the street. It seemed like there's some driveway, then there's the potential change, and then the majority of the driveway is behind that area. Maybe a third, 2/3 or something like that. I didn't measure, of course, I don't go on people's property, I just stand on the sidewalk to get a feel.
Could I ask a question?
Certainly.
Corey, do you know what the wording in the ADA requirements for driveways and parking, is it worded the same way as our code is, or does it exclude or take into account maneuverability?
So it does. I have to state that these ANSI standards and the ADA standards are applicable and enforceable only within public spaces. They are not governed, nor are they enforceable with private residences. We have our own code that talks about off-street parking spaces, but that is verbatim from our code section here, measured exclusive of interior driveways or maneuvering areas. And so the way that I interpret that text is that the parking space itself for each vehicle is 9 by 18, and then the only other spaces that we would have to look at code is our curb cuts, and then again our zoning setbacks, and all of the other zoning things that would indirectly relate to driveways, which are also called out in our zoning code as not structures, driveways and sidewalks.
Thank you.
Okay. At this point, no other questions from the board?
Not for me.
Okay, at this point, I'll ask the public if there's anyone who wishes to speak on this case, please raise your hand. Okay, we will close that portion down, and you will hear us discuss among the board as to their thoughts. Bill?
Look, my thoughts are the ones I expressed to the petitioner's representative, which is exceptional practical difficulty, and I understand what the desire is here in terms of the layout of the house they bought a couple of years ago is less than ideal, but it was built that way, and there is the ability, as I was talking about with the representative, of entering through in the back in the kitchen. And as we point out on every one of these matters, variance goes forever. So we're basically on I'm most concerned about the setback encroachment, though the FAR, they like many of us benefit from the old FAR, which is not allowed anymore anyway. So you're taking a property that is more dense than the city now permits, making it additional density and encroaching on the setback where, just looking at the picture of Google Maps, the houses are quite close together anyway. So I'm concerned in terms of the exceptional practical difficulty and the overall impact on the community. So those are the issues that I see.
Thank you. Edie, your thoughts?
Sure. I'm going to mirror some of Bill's. That house was built to face the driveway to maximize the interior area on purpose. And although these folks purchased the house, did not build it, they recognized that, or they could have recognized that when it was built. Now they want to keep the benefit of that extra interior space, which is already over our FAR, and be granted the right to add a non-compliant exterior square footage after the fact, which adds to the bulk of the property, as Bill implied. The FAR of the existing property is, well, just to repeat, it's 205 square feet over, which is 8% over what's allowed if it was built today. The FAR without the pergola would be 245 square feet over, which is approximately 10% then over what would be allowed to be built today. As Bill said, and we all know, we're stewards of the land. Our decisions are based on the land, irrespective of the owners. Since we grant the variance, it goes with the land forever, no matter who owns the place or how it's used. Essentially, it seems the city's code has a couple of main purposes. It wants to contain bulk, not add to it. Our codes want to provide a comfortable, soft, natural buffer between neighbors as much as possible with these 50 by 100-foot lots, and also maintain the open, natural feeling that Rehoboth Beach provides. Like so many cities, we operate under a philosophy of rolling compliance, so that as owners want to make changes or upgrades to non-compliant properties, such as this one, these changes will then cause the properties to become more compliant, not less compliant. So over time, this methodology fills the city with more compliance rather than adding non-compliance to situations. So this property, by granting any variance whatsoever, will increase the FAR based, by granting this variance, set of variances. So now we came in here thinking we had 2 issues, and as we found out this afternoon, we have 3. We have the FAR, which we know. We have the side yard setbacks, and we also have this parking issue. And we don't,
I thought Corey resolved that for us. So
Pardon?
we do not have a parking issue. Corey answered that. 9 by 18, and you can drive around the
Okay,
addition, 9 by 18, and
Okay.
we're good.
as long, but what about,
Practical, but it's
but what
good.
about if they need to take some of that parking area for away, or it doesn't matter that there aren't, if,
So they're required to designate 2 9 by 18s.
and it could be grass.
And they don't even
hypothetically.
have to use them, I don't think. They have to designate them.
Okay,
So.
Okay.
So it's believed, and Corey, I think, wants to correct me, but I think the case is that they can show those 2 parking spots, even if an area that leads from one to the next is slightly less wide than
Okay.
the required parking space itself.
okay, all right.
Do we get that right, Corey?
That's correct, and they had showed that it was fully covered with permeable pavers, even though we don't recognize pervious versus impervious, and still seem to show 50%
Right.
or more natural area. So if they were to go with strips, they would be even closer to that.
Right.
There's ways to comply.
So in the bottom line, when I look at the quick check factors, the nature of the zone would not be changed by granting a variance. The removal of the character of the immediate vicinity would not be changed at all if we granted the variance. My issues and discussions with my compatriots here are the number 3 and 4. Would the removal of the restriction seriously affect neighboring properties? I'm a bit on the fence on that, but it will increase the bulk. And that's one of the things our code is trying not to do, is increase the bulk in the city, rather than reducing it, and it would be that way forever. We would increase the bulk and say, this property from now on can have this bulk, can be 10% over. So that's number 3. And then the exceptional practical difficulty that Bill raised so well a while ago for the owner, the hardships are primarily wants, in my view, not needs. I understand the tightness of going into an area and trying to turn around, go in, carry things. I think we all recognize that. But I don't think the owner has fully explored some compliant or more compliant options where they might use interior space somehow, or some existing other form of ingress, egress, to create the type of entry that they really want, that they're really looking to create. So that's kind of where I am in my thought process.
Thank you, Amy. Rick, your thoughts?
Yeah, Corey, I have a question to ask you first. I believe our code has minimum ingress and egress requirements for driveways, correct?
You are correct. That was something that was stated recently at one of the commercial cases. But that line that you're talking about is for letter D in 270-30, and it starts out by saying, except for property used for single-family dwellings. Every parking space shall be connected with a street or alley by paved driveway which affords ingress and egress for a motor vehicle without requiring another motor vehicle to be moved. And when we were looking at the intent of that, it was so that cars wouldn't have to back out into a public street or alleyway in order to afford a different vehicle to move.
Okay, so there's no requirement as to width of the egress and ingress off the street for residential properties?
We have 2 things at our disposal, black and white in the code. We have the curb cuts. They have to be a minimum of 10 feet, maximum of 20 feet. And we have the parking spaces themselves. Again, those parking areas shall be measured exclusive of interior driveways or maneuvering areas. So that's left up to interpretation without the explicit black and white. Most times we have a driveway that's just 9 by 36. that meets the two. We don't normally have it go back, but we have many cases where there will be a fence and a gate, and the driveway will then be reduced a bit, several inches or so on each side because of the posts and the hinges on the gates, which is allowed. I would say to not make it less than 8 feet because of the fact of the ANSI and the ADA standards require 8-foot minimum in width. Vans are wider, but for each space in all of those standards is 8 feet. It's just we don't normally see this. It's usually either 2 vehicles, 18 by 18, or 9 by 36, without the extended portion that goes further into the backyard.
Okay, so your position is that the second 9 by 18, if you will, parking space in the interior, that doesn't trigger a new ingress-egress requirement?
I would say that if it has the curb cut,
Yeah.
and it has the 9 by 18, and those are measured exclusive of interior driveways or maneuvering areas, and it's, I'm going to use the word reasonable, where there is literature that we can fall back on, which would be the 8-foot for the ANSI and the ADA, that is essentially where I would come down on allowing it, that it would say that it would meet the code without us explicitly black and white stating that if any driveway at all for any residential purposes would have to maintain 9 feet in width for the duration of the driveway.
So are you saying, I know, if I can ask him one question. So essentially, you're saying we're an hourglassy kind of thing is allowable, right? I mean, I'm not saying a full hourglass.
A tree, for instance.
But it's- but the
a
out-
tree could pinch a drive area.
Yeah, yeah.
Trees
but-
have,
But, so
and-
you could come in and then have a difference, and then have it go out again. is
Corey's
what-
probably
as
too
long
young
as
to know
it's
what an
reasonable.
hourglass
you're-
is.
I believe I know the street that you're talking about. There is something that comes to mind. Yeah, and again, we see this often with gates and
yes.
fences. With
Okay.
the double wide gates, they do encroach some. You'll see the concrete or whatever pavers that they use, and then inside those pavers is where the posts hang for the gates to swing open. And it does pinch that some. But the general intent still allows a vehicle to travel and use the usable 162 square feet of space to satisfy the parking area.
Okay, right. Rick, thank you for letting me interject before you
No problem,
finish.
no problem. Thanks, Corey. I guess the way I look at this is, I agree with Bill, and I also agree with Edie's points. And, curb appeal and aesthetics, in my mind, are not a reason to allow a variance. And, the current property owners were aware of this situation when they bought the house, which is already over the code requirements, so it's, an existing non-conforming. And I agree that adding more to the bulk of this structure is contrary to what we're supposed to be guarding against. And I just can't fit into exceptional, practical, any of the reasons that have been stated for this variance request. Exceptional means not normal. It may be somewhat of a practical, thing for the homeowners to want, but it's a want rather than an exceptional need. And that's how I look at the situation.
Thank you, Rick. Fred?
Just real quick, I think all of your considerations are just fine. I just want to put a little bit of color on the one related to what the applicant knew when they purchased. That does not represent a hard and fast bar from bringing in an application for a variance. I think it can be a factor, utilized the way you utilized it, but it doesn't disqualify someone from coming before the board and saying, we bought the property recently, we knew from the minute we saw it, we were going to seek relief. If they make their case well and have, a good basis for their case, it could be granted or denied, notwithstanding the fact that they were aware of the difficulty that they later came forward on.
Thank you, Fred. And where my head's at on this is I wish we would have had more evidence, photographs to prove the point of, hey, the door swings right in up against the first tread. It makes it very impractical and makes it an exceptional practical difficulty. I'm a little distressed that all the drawings don't match up. That this is here, that's not there. I'm like, what am I really looking at? I thought I was looking at a landing. Again, right where it says below the word entry, it says down. So on first level plan A-2, I'm thinking I'm looking at a flat landing, and then I see a railing, and I see the arrow, and it says down. So I'm thinking, oh, just rebuild the staircase. Done. I'm happy that you looked at alternatives. A lot of times we just hear, no, this is it, this is all I want, and I'm going with that. You did explore alternatives. I do think there are alternatives. They might be expensive alternatives, and again, it's very, very hard to visualize this in this multi-level home. But like I said, I do feel for the clients that it's a very cramped entryway, and again, I'm also of the belief that aesthetics is not an exceptional practical difficulty. Would it look nicer? Yes. I also like what I think it was Bill said. You may leave your front entrance door on the side, but if you need to bring in groceries or a piece of furniture, you pull further back into the driveway and you go in entrance number 2 or even entrance number 3 in the back of the house. I know that's not great. It's a hassle, but it doesn't rise to the level of exceptional. I thought other alternatives back to no one wants to lose a bedroom, but relocating the bathroom, if that's a possibility, and then putting the entrance, just like every other house has it, right in the front. Maybe even a porch would be allowed. Again, we're not allowed or we're not here to design it, but I do think there might be other alternatives here, and I just haven't risen to exceptional level here. And if we would have seen more evidence, maybe that would have taken me over to that. So that's kind of where my head is at on this one as well. So can I ask the board, someone on the board, to put a motion forward?
I'll propose a motion to deny the requested variance. We are governed by the quick check factors. Factors 1, which is the nature of the property and the zone, seems fine. 2, the character immediate vicinity is not. This is not changing it. 3 is if the restriction is not removed, would it seriously affect neighboring properties? I think there is an issue, in my view, with respect to the neighboring properties, notwithstanding lack of objection from neighbors with respect to the reducing the setback from 10 feet to 8 feet. So there, I think 3 is at least partially an issue, and 4, which is the key issue, which is whether the failure to grant the variance would create an exceptional practical difficulty for the owner in relation to their efforts to make normal improvements to the property. As we've discussed the last few minutes, there do appear to be other options, even if they may be more expensive or more disruptive, and the issue that they've raised in terms of the size of the landing, while not, while certainly an issue I think we all understand does not, in my view, raise to exceptional practical difficulty under the quick check factors. So for that reason, I would move to deny the requested variance.
I second.
We got a second? Okay.
Second.
All right, and I will, Bill, just easy ask you to vote on your,
I will vote in support of my motion for the reasons just stated.
okay, thank you. Edie?
I vote I vote to accept or to approve the motion because of the 4 quick check factors that I went over in my comments, and also that Bill outlined so well just a few moments ago. However, I want to say I do absolutely understand the frustrations that you folks might be or seem to be experiencing, and I appreciate the fact that you were willing to come to us and share your story with us. But I too can't find, for this variance, I can't find a way to support it. So I vote to deny.
Okay. Rick?
I too vote to deny for the reasons stated by my colleagues. And in particular, I just cannot fit this particular variance into the exceptional practical difficulty part of the quick check test. I also think that it doesn't meet the standards of the third test. And, you know, we need to be sure that when granting a variance that we are applying all of the tests and they all must be met. So, you know, I too, I feel for you. I understand the issue, but I also think that there would be other alternatives, even if they're somewhat more expensive.
Thank you, Rick. And I too vote for the motion to deny. I'm kind of with Bill on the hardship. Quick check number 4, Rick on number 3. Number 3, adding more bulk to an existing property that's over the FAR is an impact to the neighbor. And as far as, you know, this did not, in my mind, raise to the exceptional practical difficulty level. I feel for the issue. I just wish you could come up with another solution for your clients that, you know, whether it needed a variance or not, I just, you know, that could be heard, but I too vote to deny this. So thank you for coming today, and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Okay, does anyone need a break, or are we good to go? We good? Oh, all right, let's go. All right, let's move on to case number 2, 116 Newcastle. Give us 30 seconds to get organized. Okay, Corey, please proceed.
Okay, this is case number 0925-10 for 116 Newcastle Street. Applicant is Victoria Skerpa, represented today by those from Moonlight Architects. The application is for a variance to floor area ratio. The applicant, Victoria Skerpa, is seeking a variance to floor area ratio to allow an expansion of the existing 2.5-story single-family dwelling to construct 2 ADA-compliant bedrooms and an ADA-compliant bathroom. The applicant also seeks a new open front porch. The application shows that the proposed addition would exceed the currently exceeded FAR and require a reduction in either lot coverage or driveway walkways to remain in compliance with lot coverage and natural area requirements. Property is located at 116 Newcastle, situated in the R1 district, and is 7,500 square feet in area. Once again, I'll share a little bit of the background information and then briefly go over the calculations. I already read the first one. It is the intent is to build 2 ADA-compliant bedrooms and an ADA bathroom with a 500 square foot addition to the existing home. The applicant also seeks a 250 square foot open front porch. The existing home's FAR was calculated from house dimensions submitted with a home addition permit, which was approved by the city November 16th, 1990. The permit and plans are included as BI Exhibit B, and current calculations for this Board of Adjustment case are shown on BI Exhibit A. The maximum permitted FAR for the property, having no basement and no pool, is 3,750 square feet. The current home, without the addition, has an existing floor area ratio of 3,962 square feet, exceeding the allowable limit by 212 square feet. With the 500 square foot addition, the new FAR for the home is calculated to be 4,462 square feet, requiring a FAR variance of 712 square feet. These calculations are provided on sheet SD 103 of BI Exhibit A. The applicant is not seeking a variance for natural area lot coverage. Existing lot coverage calculations were taken from surveys and drawings associated with permits from 1997, 2003, and 2010 in the city's property file. All existing lot coverage and natural area calculations are shown on sheet SD 104 of BI Exhibit A, which is shown to you here. While current numbers demonstrate compliance with the code, the proposed addition and front porch will reduce the natural area below the required 50% minimum. Therefore, the 500 square foot addition of the house, along with the 250 square foot addition of an open front porch and the current amount of driveway, walkway, and pavers will require a minimum reduction of approximately 524 square feet to remain in compliance with the code.
Do I understand you saying they didn't ask for a variance on that?
Correct.
Yeah.
So they applied, even though it's way over, they didn't ask for a variance?
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was understanding.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yeah, so in order to remain compliant, we would need to see a reduction of about 525 square feet.
Okay, I guess I have a question, Fred. Does it make sense to proceed with something that they're not asking for a variance on and is in violation of the code? What are we doing here?
Well, if I understand the question correctly, that's not uncommon that, I mean, if we have an application that gives notice to the public that a variance is
They
sought.
haven't asked for a variance. So they haven't asked for a variance, so they haven't even potentially addressed
Right.
exceptional practical difficulty, because,
Right.
so they're in violation on its face of the law. They haven't asked for a variance, so how do we proceed?
Well, I mean, I'm presuming they asked for a variance because they're here and they paid an application fee, but is that not the case?
Well, I would let the applicant speak to that. What I can say from the report is with the included, as you can see there, the variance requested for the house plus the proposed new front porch, you see a lot of paver areas in the rear and on the side and in a very large existing driveway. During the permit phase, we would work with the applicant to remove as much as needed to come into compliance with lot coverage numbers. However, they're not asking for a variance for that today, so we would require them to remove that amount of square footage.
So we could proceed as long as they got it back to 50%?
On that issue,
On that, yeah.
not on
On the lot
FAR,
coverage.
though, but on the
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had the same question, Bill.
Yeah, I do too.
I had the same
I guess,
question.
I should let you finish, but I don't want to spend an hour on this in order for them to come back and say to us, okay, well, we're not going to, there's no way to pull up 500 square feet, so we're going to have to come back with something else. And so that's why I wanted to flag it,
Well,
Fred.
as a preliminary matter, we could investigate that the applicant right now and make sure we have everything we need to make a decision, and that the applicant wishes us to go forward with what's before us.
Yeah, because what I don't want to do is spend a lot of time and then say, okay, well, we're going to have to redesign this whole thing.
Yeah,
And I mean, you've now spent an hour doing something that we know we don't want to do because there's no way to pull up
right.
500 square feet.
Right.
Can the applicant come forward and we'll swear you in and we'll ask that question that you just heard again?
Good afternoon, board members. My name is Freddie Botta. I'm with Moonlight Architecture, Inc., 29003 Lewis Georgetown Highway, Lewis, Delaware.
Sir, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You heard the question. Do you understand it?
Excuse me.
Did you understand the question that was being raised, or would you?
I'm a little confused about the question because I thought we did apply for a variance. That's the whole purpose that we're here,
Okay,
is for,
Yeah, the question is, are you asking for a variant? There are two different code sections that you need to be addressing. One is the FAR, and the second is a lot coverage. Were you aware that the lot coverage is way over the required lot coverage area variance here?
yes, and we are planning to remove some of this lot coverage from the site in the project
Okay,
overall.
are you, that's partially responsive. Are you planning to not seek a variance as to the lot coverage? Are you going to be within the requirements with removal, or do you not know what you're going to be yet?
The way we see it, we should be within compliance of the lot coverage.
You'll remove the pavers to get it to the
Exactly.
50%. That's,
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. So I think we can.
So
And that could
that's-
be a condition of any approval that's granted, which
So yes, if that answers the question, yes, we never applied for an increase of lot coverage because our intent is to reduce the existing lot coverage from the pavers and sidewalks and some of those things.
To get below the existing code requirements?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Corey, that
And you could stay there.
Right to point that out.
Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
it wouldn't be the only time, Corey, we spent an hour and then had to do the whole thing all
Oh,
over.
right, I know. That's right.
Yeah, if they don't apply for the variance here, we would enforce every portion of the zoning code other than the variances prior to permitting any permit.
That were granted, yeah.
Correct. So, yeah, so on the sheet SD 104, as you can see here, the lot area and the lot coverage, the existing versus the proposed for all of those numbers are shown on that sheet there. Again, showing a reduction of approximately 524 square feet. And that seems to be reasonable with how much lot coverage is taken up by pavers, existing driveway, and current walkways. So as stated in the background information, the maximum permitted FAR for the property having no basement and no pool is 3,750 square feet. The current home without the addition has an existing FAR of 3,962 square feet, exceeding the allowable limit by 212 square feet. With the 500 square foot addition, the new FAR for the home would be 4,462 square feet, requiring a FAR variance of 712 square feet. So in conclusion, the proposed construction would include the 500 square foot enclosed addition and a 250 square foot open porch. Based on current lot data, the proposal would reduce natural area coverage below the 50% minimum. To restore compliance, the removal of approximately 524 square feet of existing hardscape or other impervious coverage would be necessary. According to the applicant's submission, the addition is intended to accommodate ADA-compliant bedrooms and a bathroom on the first floor. The record does not include alternative design calculations or layouts demonstrating that the requested FAR increase represents the minimum necessary relief. And again, the board should determine whether the proposal satisfies all criteria for a variance under city code, including whether an exceptional practical difficulty exists, whether the relief sought is the least modification possible, and whether the condition prompting the request is unique and not self-created.
Corey, thank you. Real quick, how come there's no survey in this package? That's an architectural,
No.
that's your company's drawing, but there's
There's nothing with measurements.
no independent third party
The,
survey.
that's what we had to work with.
Understood.
The site plan is scalable, and it does allow me to approximate the general compliance of the site plan based off of the numbers shown, which is why I use that particular one along with the building plans that we had on file for the property, for the
So
approximate
you
size of
were
the
okay that
house.
there wasn't, not a third party survey?
The 270-82, for the purposes of zoning compliance, requires that a site plan, it doesn't specifically use the word survey.
okay.
A site plan is provided that is scalable, that allows the building inspector to ascertain his or her judgment for compliance. This here was enough for me to scale it. There was enough measurements below with the 75.14 in the width and the 99.28, along with previous building permits and surveys that I did see that allow me to ascertain general compliance or non-compliance from the
Do you
square
understand
footages.
why wasn't there on the first floor, right side, the western side of the building, why wasn't that included? We have an
up there,
architectural
so-
drawing, it's like kind of cut. So we're trying to look at, the FAR, the square footage.
Correct.
We
And
don't see any right
is-
side of the building.
You're correct. This is why in my building inspector A exhibit, this is not included. And what I had to use in order to get those was the plans that we have on file from 1990, which now shows the 24 feet by the 29 feet here of the existing. That would be the garage. And so I had to compile the numbers from the plans that we have on file with what was presented with the application. And again, this is done with the first floor and the second floor, and then the half story above that. So I use these dimensions in order to ascertain the floor area of the
I'm
house.
fine with the dimensions and trust that they're accurate. What I'm looking for, what I was looking for was interior
Yep.
to help me prove the exceptional practical difficulty for bedrooms. And I felt like I was left blind here, not knowing. Honestly, I counted potentially 9 bedrooms in what I could see that in the evidence submitted without the knowledge of the potential bedrooms on the first floor of, I saw the second floor, I didn't see the first floor.
May I help clarify something?
Yes, please.
This is
Are you okay
actually-
with that, Corey?
Correct.
Okay, go
Yes,
ahead,
I'm okay
sorry.
with that.
This is actually 2 units. They have a rental license for both, and it is actually 2 separate living units. So the unit on the right is the existing unit, which was built back in 1940-something. And the other unit is the owner's unit, which was added in 1990.
And thank you, is that included in the FAR calculations, both sides?
Well, yeah, our FAR doesn't go off of individual units. It's based off of the lot area
Yeah, that's what I
itself.
thought,
So
yeah.
whether the property has 1 or 2 rental license, for instance, if the lot has a garage apartment that's existing non-conforming, we would include that as well
So this is,
for the overall
so
FAR.
the FAR is inclusive of it, but I don't get to see the interior, even though I understand, you're telling me, thank you, that it's a rental unit. Okay.
But Corey, you're saying an addition to an existing SFD, single-family dwelling?
For the permit?
Yeah.
Oh, that was from 1990. The permit, I believe,
No,
came in.
the applicant desires to construct an addition to an existing SFD. I'm not being anti with you. I'm saying if we've got a multifamily situation or a multi-rental license, am I Am I wrong here? Can it still say SFD?
For a.
This is
a-
this is your report, first page, last paragraph.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct. This is in R1 district, so only single-family dwellings are permitted.
Right,
They have a legal non-conforming rental license. We have the records of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Dating back, but it's still recognized as an SFD.
Okay.
That it would have 2 rental licenses for 2 dwelling units in it.
okay.
But it's not relevant, though, that they're rental licenses,
No.
that there are multiple rental licenses.
No,
The
not
question
for
is,
zoning
are there
purposes.
2 dwellings there under our code on one parcel?
Correct.
There are.
There are 2 dwellings with 2 separate rental licenses under the
I
code.
know, but but it wouldn't
But
matter,
without-
does it, that they're each rented or not rented? I mean, there are 2 dwellings on one lot, which is a legal nonconformity,
Correct.
or one parcel.
Correct, because the use now currently for an R1 district is only for a single-family dwelling.
Yeah, and we just had, this is a property that happens to be developed with 2 independent dwellings on it, which is legal non-conforming, I presume.
Correct, but it's the classification of work is in addition. And that addition is to a single-family dwelling, although it has an additional dwelling unit in it.
Right, right.
I believe at one point, there's a garage there. There's no garage anymore.
It's just a second unit.
The second unit, yeah. I would let the applicant lay out what the house looks like, but I needed to include the plans from 1990 to show FAR calculations, regardless if there's 1 or 2 units, as it's one building.
Okay, thank you, Corey. I think, with regard to the 250 square foot open front porch, are there any code issues other than natural area? I mean, it would be compliant, no variances needed for a front porch.
Correct, so long as it meets all the definitions and requirements.
Okay.
Only lot coverage, natural area would be affected.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else on the board have questions for
Corey,
Corey?
the pictures show insulation wrap. Has this been started?
It should not have been started, not to my knowledge.
There's Tyvek all over it. There's Tyvek all over it.
Yeah, so what are the pictures with all the tie
Can I
back?
clarify that? Yeah.
Yeah, please.
The house had water damage, and it basically ravaged through the whole house and destroyed everything. So they had to tear off some of the siding, they had to tear off the drywall inside. Sorry, I'm losing my voice. Had to tear off some of the building materials and stuff like that to dry the house out. So that's why it looks like it's being worked on. But actually, no work has been performed to the house. Okay.
I can verify that.
Remediation. Sorry,
That's correct.
yeah, other than remediation.
Okay, just, I saw the tie back on it.
Understandable.
Well, one of the reasons why we would ask that is, okay, if they started, do they have option A, option B, option C? If they don't get that's where our head.
Is option D to ask for forgiveness?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that people have done that.
Yeah.
It does not endear us.
Believe me, I understand.
Okay. Any other questions for Corey?
Not for Corey, thanks.
Edie?
Yep. Do you know when the purchase was made by Christina Skerpa? She's still the owner, correct, according to the city records?
According to city records,
She's
correct.
still the owner?
I do not, and for all future reports, I will be including that information. I apologize, I didn't have that
Okay,
here
well,
today.
I'll ask her. But she is the owner of record?
Correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry, can I, to stand correct, Ms. Christina Skerpa, is that what you said?
Yes,
Just correct
I
me.
said Christina.
Sorry about that.
Yes, okay. And yeah, if I'm reading Corey correctly, you were referencing November 1990 information. Do the plans that from 1990 seem to match the current house, or have changes been made in the intervening 35 years that the city might not have known about?
Correct, yeah, you're right to point that out. I referenced not just the house itself, but on the exterior, you're right. And
Right.
surveys and drawings associated with permits from 1997, 2003, and 2010 from the city's property file were included to ensure that the hardscaping, the land, the pavers in the rear, the shed, how it's very close, all that we actually have record of.
Okay.
And so I was able to find that. So that was, the 1990 was the best available for me to gain
the baseline.
dimensions of the house itself, to gain a floor area ratio. And then all the other permits and drawings were associated to get lot coverage numbers and to make sure that the structures that you see there were permitted
Okay.
at any point.
So you're feeling that everything matches pretty well?
Correct.
Okay.
If you remove the variance requested in the proposed front porch, it looks very similar to what they're presenting here.
Okay. Let's see. What change, well, maybe this is moot now. What changes and additions have been made since 1990? But that, I guess that doesn't matter as long as they're all reflected, and that's what you're saying, as far as you know, to hardscape or...
Correct. The
or
structures that you
footprint of
see on
or
the property.
footprint, okay.
We have record of.
How have the applicants indicated that they would reduce the driveway, walkway, and pavers by over 500 square feet? How have they indicated that to you in their conversations? Or have they?
They have not, other
Okay.
than that they said that they would be able to do it.
Okay. All right, just wondered. There are some inside measurements supplied by the applicant. For instance, I'll give you an example. If we go to SD 101, I'll just choose that to start with. And on the left margin, there's requested variance and then EXG, which I assume stands for existing residence. So is this, you didn't get anything, as Barry asked early on in this whole case, something, a real architectural, a real drawing with measurements, a survey. So right now, you're saying that the line from the left side between the two arrows, if my eye follows it across, that this is everything to the back of that arrow for EXG exists right now exactly the way it is. Is that right?
Correct. You'll see a little notch that goes down.
Yep.
Roughly about a foot or so. That's existing as well.
Okay. So right now, there's no dining room or living room?
As you see it here, no.
Okay. So, but what there are, hypothetically, since it says existing, ADA exists bedroom 1 and an ADA bathroom, ADA bedroom 2, bedroom 3, and then if you go to the next SD 102, there's another bedroom 1, another bedroom 3.
But that's indicated with new wall. Look at the legend. That would all be new, I believe. That's the way I read it.
But then there's bedroom 4. There's a bedroom 3 on each level. There's a bedroom 3 and 4 on SD 102. I can't get these levels to match up in my head, and I'm pretty good with that kind of thing, and I can't get all this to match up.
If you look at the sheet that shows here, I can't speak to say if the interior-wise still looks like this, but from what we gathered here, you'll see some
Which one
flower.
are we looking at?
This is the first floor,
101?
101, and this
Okay.
area would be kind of shown as the existing, and there's a cutout right there that's where you get that L shape, where there's
Yeah.
a flower bed, which is also shown up here where there was a terrace, which is now, I believe, a sunroom. I would let Moonlight Architecture let you know what the interior looks like, but this is 29 feet 6 inches, then you have this 6-inch right here, which is where they have the flower pots. To get 30 feet, there is the 35 feet here. This is where I took the dimensions and overlaid what was existing
I see.
to add on to the front portion. If you remove this brick and steps here, this is where I believe, and again, I'll let the applicant verify, but this is where the addition would come
Okay.
in front of.
But if you look at SD 102, now you have on the front edge of this, which hypothetically I thought was supposed to overlay SD 101, you've got an existing deck.
So the deck there is there. I just, if you can see where my where the clicker is here, this little point here, it should go and outline, if I come across here and go up, it should outline the same coming across here and going up. And so
Okay.
this is where, above the, where it says kitchen, would be where the existing deck would show. And then so they're not proposing the addition that would be on the second floor. The way
Right.
it's presented here is on the first floor only. And this line here in red that separates it, as you can see on the screen here, where above the kitchen would be the existing deck, and then this bedroom 3 and the queen bed here would be where the sunroom above would be, if we were to come down here. And,
Okay.
and it's this area here where this 6 inches or so,
Yeah,
give or take, is where that overlays on the first floor plans, where that line that says existing comes across, and then everything in front of it is new.
okay. Let's see. What's the chairlift shown in SD 101 and SD 104? It's on the lower left corner as you look at the
So that I believe I'll let the applicant detail that a bit more, but that would probably be something that they wanted to put in there for accessibility reasons.
okay. And do
That was
we,
included in lot coverage.
okay. Do we assume that there are no exterior, i.e. setback or any other issues other than the noted natural area lot coverage? Is that true? There are no other exterior issues?
Well, this does have existing legal non-conforming setbacks.
Right.
But the addition that they're proposing is all within. And so in our nonconformity section of our code, if it's devoted to a nonconforming use, which this house, I still classify it as a single-family dwelling. I don't want to mix in the waters of rental units, of rental licenses. But it's the addition of it or the extension of it is allowed to be done so long as the extension itself falls into all the applicable zoning categories. So what I would look at would be just this portion here in red for the requested variance, the proposed new front porch and the chairlift. Would these be in zoning compliance? And that addition portion would be. I would only look at the house itself if, again, more than 50% of it was being
Right.
removed.
Okay, and my last question right now for you is, what other alternatives did the applicant discuss with you? Were there any, a smaller change, a more compliant set of changes? Did they discuss anything with you that's not being presented here?
No.
Okay, great. That's all I had. Thanks, Barry.
All right, thank you, Edie. Rick?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this whole schematic out as well.
It's difficult.
It's very difficult. So, first question, just to confirm. The first floor is the only level that is being changed here? There's no changes in the second floor or third floor? And the FAR for them remains the same as they are now?
I would let the applicant speak to the second and third floor, but as far as the addition, the extension of the building, I saw only the first floor. They may have plans to make interior alterations, but we allow that without, so long as it doesn't affect the footprint of the house or the floor area ratio, or they're not extending any ceilings above 12 feet or so, that has no bearing on our zoning code. If they just make those type of interior alterations.
Correct. Yes, thank you. At the outset, it was indicated that there are 2 rental licenses, and those don't really come into play, other than, I'm confused, are there 2 separate entrances? One for the owner's portion and another separate entrance for the rental unit?
I would let the applicant answer that. I believe that there would have to be, if they have 2 rental licenses for 2 properties, there would have to be 2 entries, or two dwelling units.
Okay. I guess my next question is for the applicant as well. Okay, thanks, Corey.
Okay. Thank you, Rick, and thank you. Any other questions for Corey?
Me, thank you.
Okay, at this point, we're going to turn it over to you, sir, and if you would like to proceed.
Thank you very much. As I said, my name is Freddie Bottom with Moonlight Architecture, and I'm here on behalf of Ms. Christina and Victoria Skerpa. Just a little bit of background on the house. The house has been in the family for well over 50 years. Everything that's been built to date has always been in conformance with the city code at that particular times. So there was nothing that was ever done without getting a building permit. And as Corey has mentioned, everything he has copies and records of. So the house is all existing, some parts of it existing non-conforming, but the rest of it is conforming. About the time 1990, Ms. Skerpa's husband and actually her parents purchased the house over 50 years ago. They took over the house, but her husband needed to add more space because of expanding family, as most people do. And then they added this second piece, which you see to the left of the project, in like 1990. And then in 2004, they did another small renovation to the third floor, once again for expanding family, to put room upstairs on the loft in the third floor. So that's how about this whole house and project came together. If I might take a moment maybe to help clarify and help everybody understand what's what and where.
Yes, you can.
Go to the microphone if you,
Yeah, sure.
thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Let me just find this. So, as Corey was saying, the darker shaded area is the existing single-family dwelling. Single-family dwelling, although it is, 2 units. To further address some earlier questions, Mr. Perry, to your question, are the units connected? The units are connected, but they also have individual entrances. So if someone, let's say, down the road had wanted to rent both units for a big family gathering, there could be a connection piece between both of those. But the connections are, if you look right here, where my cursor's moving back and forth, that's a separate entrance for the unit on the right, which is the oldest and earliest part of the property. That was the original home. But then you would go up a set of stairs and you see it's sort of an intermediate landing. There is a doorway here which connects the newer addition of the house to the older portion of the house. So they are connected, but they do also have separate individual entrances. So now if I'd like to take a moment here, I can stay up here. The reason we're asking for this variance is because, as I said, expanding family members coming and staying, and we want a place for the families to gather. As we all know, everybody in Rehoboth, we're all aging in place. We're all coming here to retire, but the families aren't getting any smaller, they're getting bigger. So there is a need here for more space for people to stay. Ms. Skerpa, she will speak in a moment. It's becoming harder for her to get up and down stairs. So some of the plans that we're looking to do to this house down the road, and I know it's we kind of gave you some information here, but to explain things down the road is, first off, the house had just went through some flood issues. Water just destroyed the whole interior of the house. So this is an opportunity for us to make it more compliant for the owner now that she's older and having a hard time getting around. And she has other family members that are also having difficulty getting around. So one of the plans that we're thinking about possibly doing with the house is we're looking to possibly take the first floor and lowering the first floor to bring it closer to the ground level so that we don't have as big of a vertical differential in trying to get into the house. The other way, we can't get it all the way to the ground, and we really don't want to do a slab on grade. Plus structurally and cost-wise, we don't want to tear that out. We can't tear that out. So we're working around what parameters we have on the existing house. But the addition, we're looking to, as we said, lower the house. We're going to do a chairlift off the side of the house. That'll help us get up about a foot of differential and into the house, hopefully a future foot and a half of differential into the house. If you look at the earlier photographs that you said where you saw the Tyvek and other material, you notice that the existing floor is probably 4 feet off the ground, which is just insurmountable for somebody in a wheelchair or somebody, with a cane or anybody getting up into a house like that. So that's why I said we're looking to lower the house and then, of course, bring a step up to it. So the major reason why we were requesting this variance is because, once again, we want to make this house ADA compliant. We want it to be for somebody, and to mention, to be honest with you, Ms. Skirpa's father, Victoria Skirpa's grandfather, actually was in a wheelchair. And when they tried to get him into the house, it would take 3 adult males to try and lift his wheelchair up and get him into the house. The previous house, which, Corey, if I may ask, is the original house plans on here? Just keep scrolling down, okay. So the original house, as you can see, was, it's kind of dated with the period of the house. It's very compartmentalized and very difficult to get around this house. To get into the kitchen, you actually have to go through a doorway to get into the kitchen, and you're also talking about a doorway that's like 2 feet wide. It's just, you can't get a wheelchair through there, you can't get anything through there. Same thing with some of the bedrooms. With putting a bed in there, you can't get around the bed. You can't even get into the door to get into the bedroom. Same thing for the bathroom. Bathroom's extremely non-compliant. So it was basically uninhabitable for somebody who happens to be in a wheelchair. So that's why we're trying to convert it. But to really, we are a licensed registered architecture firm in the state of Delaware. So we deal with ADA all the time. So we know the regulations and what's required of ADA requirements. Now, as Corey said previously in the last variance hearing you had, ADA doesn't apply to personal residential type stuff. There are some guidelines, but they don't apply. But we use them as our guidelines. If they're good for the commercial, they're going to be good for residential. So we've designed the house on the lower level around that. So as you can see, you'll see some dashed circles in the bedrooms, and this is for handicap turning radiuses. You'll also see some dashed rectangles around the bed, and that's for vertical transfer. So if someone pulls up next to the bed in a wheelchair, they can slide over off the wheelchair into the bed. Or if they're in the bedroom, they can turn around in their wheelchair and navigate into and out of the room and so on. The kitchen is now a new kitchen design with an open kitchen design so that somebody can go in there, and you can see some dash lines in here for accessibility for stove, microwave, the sink, all those sorts of things. So we are really striving towards getting that compliance. But as you can kind of see, that adding these spaces to these rooms requires a lot of space. So to really make this a living area and a gathering space that we want it to be for the family and for the aging family, we really need to ask for a little bit more space. So that's why we're asking for this additional 500 square feet. I know the number is 750 square feet, but that 750 square feet, the 250 square feet of it is the allowable open porch, which, that throws into the square foot number. But the real number that we're looking at is roughly the 500 square feet that we want to add into this living area for the family. So that's where this whole drive and request is coming from. There was some mentions about some additional renovations to the house. And we have looked at the original FAR and square footages of the house. As it is right now, there is an existing loft area. I have to see if it's in this later plan. But we are looking to give up and sacrifice some of that loft area because it's also difficult to get up to the 3rd floor. So some of this area here, we are actually looking to sacrifice and get rid of in order to make some more functional living area for the other family members who can actually navigate vertical stairs and vertical areas. So that's where we're going to put it into basically this area here. But looking at, like I said, looking at what we're giving up and everything, this is sort of a different number, a 2nd floor. But all we're doing is taking an opportunity to reconfigure some of this. It's still pretty much the way it was, 2 bedrooms on the 2nd floor and a bathroom. We're adding an extra bathroom. But so yes, to answer your question, there are some changes and modifications that are being made on the other levels. And we are sacrificing some area on the 2nd level or the 3rd level to accommodate some of those changes for the 2nd level. But overall, everything we're asking for in the 500 square foot is basically to accommodate ADA accessibility on this 1st floor level.
So question here. So if I'm looking at SD 101, and I asked a question a little while ago about existing versus requested, but maybe, I realized maybe I didn't ask the second part of that, which is existing is shown here, but that's not what exists. That's the square, that's the footprint of what exists, right?
Correct.
But this, all of this that I read to you, that doesn't exist now.
No, that does not exist. That is.
Okay.
Right here in that dark shaded area, basically the arrow is just saying, look, this is the existing footprint of the house.
It's a footprint.
Yeah, existing
Right.
footprint of the house.
I get that now.
Yeah,
but
okay.
That wasn't very clear.
Yeah. And then the arrow down to the lower part indicates this lighter shaded area. So that's the proposed addition to the house. And also in my talkings, like I said, we have aging in place. We also have Victoria Skirpa, Miss Skirpa's daughter, right now, who is moving into the area. She lives outside the area now, but she is going to be moving back to the area, and she wants to live in Rehoboth. And so this is another reason why we're need extra space for living, because there will be permanent residents there at some point, and that's another request that we're asking for.
And when we were going to clarify, when did Christina Skirpa become the owner?
Ms. Skirpa, what, 1940s, no, 19,
No, your dad was the owner, and then when your dad died, you became the owner.
Yes, yes.
And that was,
well over 50 years ago.
okay.
So, yeah, these are longtime residents. They're Delaware residents. They've lived here
Sure.
most of their life.
And when did this water damage occur that's so extensive?
Just this past fall? Yeah. Winter.
2025? So
Yes.
just a number of months ago?
Yes. If I could, if you would allow me, I would like to give both Ms. Skirpas an opportunity to speak if I could.
We want to talk to you first, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What FAR compliant or more compliant options or alternatives have you considered?
Like I said, we are making sacrifices upstairs on the upper level to keep basically the main body, the original portion of the house inside that FAR area. But to be honest with, we did look at other options, but to be honest with you, as I said on this first floor plan, even if we need a kitchen, we need a dining living area, there's not much more we can really do in this footprint to accommodate those.
I know.
And then we do have an extra room here, but this extra room is for a caretaker should there need to be somebody that has to be there 24 hours to watch over Ms. Skirpa in later years. We are, sensitive to the whole thing. We do understand that the house in the lower portion or the back western portion, is pretty darn close to the setback. We know that, but we're not touching that. We're not doing anything to that, and we knew not to push farther to the east on the setback. So we're trying to keep it in line and inside the setbacks. And with regard to the front setback, we are not pushing into the setback. We're not anywhere near the front setback. Please take note that this house is also sort of bookend or framed by two large homes on either side that actually look down into this property. So with this addition coming to the front, with this proposed addition, and if you grant us the variance, we will still be sitting 15, 20 feet farther back than the two adjacent houses next to it.
Right, I stood on the sidewalk and looked. I always go to the properties and stay.
No, and I'm glad you
Get
did
on
that.
the sidewalk and look, so I at least have
Thank you
a,
very much for doing that. We
a visual.
appreciate that.
let's see if I had anything else.
So, just kind of to say overall, they've owned this house for 50 years, well over 50 years. They want to stay here. They're not looking to turn around and sell this house tomorrow. We're just trying to accommodate the expanding family and the aging part of this whole process. So, as I said, they're one of the few local residents who've been here. I'm local, and they've been here longer than I've been here. So that's why we're looking for this request.
Those are all my questions right now, Barry.
Okay, thanks, Edie. Rick, any questions?
No, I don't have any other questions at this time. I think you've responded to the questions I had. Thank you.
Okay.
Sorry, if I may interrupt you, I'm
Certainly.
sorry. One thing I did want to say, we do have a survey from a professional licensed surveyor that has a breakdown of the square footage. We just transpose that information onto our drawings. But if you would like an official copy of that, we can actually give that to you. So,
That would be for Corey.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is an as-built required after these additions are done?
Correct.
Yeah.
We would go through that during the permit process.
all right.
And definitely had to have an as-built at the end.
Okay, yeah, and so we have a pre-survey, a pre-construction survey if you need it, so, sorry about that.
Okay, no problem. Bill?
Oh, hi. On SD 101, there are 3 bedrooms on the first floor, right?
Yes, sir.
1, 2, 3. Then you get to SD 102, you have bedroom number 3, so you,
Right.
which I assume should be bedroom number 5. 'cause you've got
Yes,
4.
it
So you
would
got-
be fifth in all of
So you
those,
have
yes.
5 on the first 2 floors, and then the kids' room, so you have 6 bedrooms on the 3 floors.
Yes, sir.
On SD 102, what's on the right-hand side?
This is the existing rental unit that's attached to it. So there is actually an actual copy of the record footprint. We don't have it on this particular plan because we needed the area for the exhibit, but this is pretty much a mirror image of what's on the ground floor as well.
Okay, so, but that, in terms of the family, you were talking about, that, if they stopped renting it, that would be more rooms, right?
If they stop
You got
rent.
6 bedrooms,
Yes, sir.
and then how many are on the rental unit?
4 bedrooms?
So we're talking about 10 bedrooms on the house overall?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Talk to me about the water damage. Is this basically requiring a gutting of everything?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
you-
I've been through the same thing
Okay.
years ago, so I know exactly. But that means you basically have got if you're doing it the way that I think you're doing it, you're basically down to the girders.
Yes, sir.
So you've got, in terms of the ability to have bigger doorways and everything else, because I literally went through the same thing 8 years ago. I feel sorry for you. We walked in to a SureGuard example, that water cascading down the stairs. So I know exactly what that's like, but we ended up having to take out absolutely everything. So is that the situation you're in?
Yes, sir.
So in terms of the ADA bathrooms and everything else, you've got the ability to do that now if you're down to the girders.
Correct.
So it's not a matter that you don't have space. You almost have a blank sheet of paper to build on. Is that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I just want to make sure I understand where you are.
Unfortunately, as you know, we've been in business for 26 years now. We've had a number of clients who are gone for a week or two, and that's what you have here.
Yeah, we were gone for 4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 days.
And the water runs for,
We burst the $6.99 connection from the floor to the bottom of the toilet, and it just ran literally 4 days. And we walked in, and the house was totaled.
or a little bit of dust and fur in a drain pan for a water heater gets plugged up. Where does it drain then? Into the house.
Yeah, but this was a running toilet for 4 days. There was nothing left of the house. So I truly feel for you. That is, I haven't forgotten it 8 years ago.
Thank you.
So but you are proposing to build 2 ADA bedrooms on the first floor. So tell me why. I understand one, but what is the, again, going back, you heard the earlier presentation, exceptional practical difficulty. What's the exceptional practical difficulty of having to build 2 ADA bedrooms instead of 1?
Miss Christina Skerpa has family members that are all roughly her age, that are all aging in place, and they do have family gatherings. Culturally, they have they were refugees from the war, World War II, from Lithuania. They've come to this country, they live here, and they like to get together, reminisce. It's a cultural and heritage type of situation, and they like to get together, and once again, as I said, when they're 80, 90 plus, it's difficult to get everybody, a home and a place to stay. So we're just trying to make reasonable accommodations for the family members that do come.
Okay. I heard earlier there are 2 rental licenses. Is the main house also rented out or is it only what you showed me on the second floor?
They have on occasions, when they're not here, rented the house out. But the intent now is to change the house and the use of the house. They still do want to keep the rental agreement for, both units, so they can rent the second unit out. But as I mentioned earlier, Miss Victoria Scarpa is planning to move back here to the area and will be living in the house permanently, probably, so.
Those are my questions, Mary.
Thank you, Bill. As far as my questions, so we talked about two rental licenses, and my head for exceptional practical difficulty for hardships with two rental license, if you had told me, hey, we have one rental to help supplement, income, and this is our primary house that we don't rent, okay, I guess I understand, that's one thing. But two, I'm having a hard time thinking of a hardship. And I'm also looking at bedroom, for SD 101, bedroom number 3, as to why can't that be eliminated? Have your kitchen, have your living room, maybe a smaller dining room, and there's a minimum, if any, need at all for the addition. And I agree with the front porch. I have no issue with the front porch. I guess why the need for bedroom number 3 on 101? Why can't it, and I know what you said as far as being close, but why can't it be simply up the steps?
It's, as you can see, it's not really a big room. It's 10 by 11, it's by most standards, that's small to average. But once again, talking about part of this being, a family gathering space, having room, and especially when you have older people there. I mean, if we cut the program down and we got rid of that room, would it bring it more into compliance? Yes. Does it make the house any more practical, more functional for handicapped people being in? Probably not. In fact, it puts us farther away from that. So that's the reason we've looked at it that way. We did look initially at doing renovations to the cottage, but because of its setbacks, we knew that we would have to conform to the new setbacks or anything we did to that, and we figured it was best not to try and go that direction, and that's why we're not looking at any variances from any side yard or rear setbacks and stuff like that.
The concern here is, again, protection of the city's infrastructure.
Understandable.
Potentially 10 bedrooms. If you go sell this property, these guys are like, wow, 10 bedrooms. Okay, that's in what we all learned. That's 20 cars on the street, because multiple families come in, and that's a huge impact. Did you consider a chairlift interior up the steps for ADA bedroom number 2?
We did, but once again, we're talking about with the chairlift we have here, like I said, we're talking about 1.5 feet of vertical transfer. A chairlift in here, once again, would take a significant amount of time to get upstairs, and then we would start having to look at creating ADA compliant bathrooms and bedrooms and everything up on this upper level, which becomes too cost prohibitive at that point.
Okay. But you do have a new ADA bathroom on first floor. It looks like 2 new bathrooms on the second floor, and a third bathroom that you're adding on the third floor. So we're doing lots of bathrooms, because it says new wall. That's what I'm looking at.
Let me just go to
Go
this
back to
quickly.
the top.
Everything's going to be new.
Yeah.
No,
With the
you
water
see,
damage, everything's
the
new.
existing second floor actually has 2 bathrooms. If you look at that.
Okay, so you're
yeah.
redoing
We
it
got-
and enlarging
We got
it.
one right here,
Okay.
and then one right here. So
Okay.
we're not increasing any bathrooms or bedrooms at all on the second
Okay.
floor.
Very.
And as I mentioned, on the third floor, we are actually getting rid of one of those rooms and just keeping the bathroom.
Got it. Okay, thank you.
So
All right. And
How do you get rid of the room? What's involved in getting rid of the room? When you say,
So
which floor
are
again?
you asking Corey or me?
well, either of you. I mean, you just said that you're going to eliminate a room on the third floor?
Yeah.
So how do you accomplish that?
Part of the requirement if I may answer this, Corey? Or do you want to answer? Yeah, okay. Part of the requirement, correct me if I'm wrong, anything over 6'6" or 6'8"?
6'6".
6'6",
It's
yeah,
now
6'6".
six,
Always forget those.
6'6"?
yeah, 6'6".
So anything over 6'6" in height is counted against the FAR. We are looking to basically eliminate any height, any area. Oops, where am I on that?
You go next one.
On that loft
There's-
area right
there it
here.
is.
Yeah,
you go.
we're gonna get rid of that basically altogether. We're gonna be putting new collar ties and joists across here, eliminating all this space up here. And that's gonna buy us like, I think, Mickey, do you recall? 90, 100 something square feet?
Well, it looks like it's 240, it looks like, because you have 160 and 80 on SD 103.
Okay. So, yeah, something like, so, yeah, these areas are like 160, 180 square feet.
So you
We're
lower,
eliminating that.
you lower the ceiling, is that the
Yes,
answer?
we're getting rid of it. Mhm. And then that would be, taking that area and putting it over here. And then where we are number-wise in the FAR, we have about another 100 square feet that we could stay inside the 3,700 and whatever square feet there is. So that's why we're trying to put it just in this area here. So, yeah, from the second and third floor perspective, we're not adding more bedrooms, no more bathrooms. We're just,
Okay, and, okay, so you did, and the answer again to the chairlift, it would take too much time?
well, it's a cost issue. To get a chairlift to go up, 2 flights of stair is a cost issue.
No, just one.
All right,
Just one flight up to the second floor.
I mean, yeah. But you see, if you look at the way the stair designed, you got to make multiple runs up that stair.
Okay.
So,
Okay, they were my questions. And I'm going to ask the board, any other questions for Corey or the applicant?
Not from me.
Go ahead, Rick.
Does the addition encroach into the front yard setback?
no.
Okay.
And it is, just to clarify so you understand, it's only a single story. We're not looking to go up 2 stories or anything. It's a single story addition. No roof deck, nothing like that.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything else on your presentation?
None of my presentation,
if you-
but I'm
you
sure
can
you'll
have it.
give, yeah.
Seat, make yourself comfortable, and you wish to speak, and you pick either seat, or you can stand, or if you would like to sit, please sit. If not, you can stand. Okay.
This is Miss Christina Skerpa.
Oh, welcome.
Yes.
Well, I've written this down so I don't forget to say anything. And I
Wait,
think-
One second. So
Okay.
the way we begin is by simply you stating your name for the record
Oh.
and give us your address, and then I'll administer the oath.
Right. All right, Christina Skerpa, 116 Newcastle Street, Rehoboth Beach.
Right. And Ms. Skerpa, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may proceed.
All right. I would like to live in my house, have it back, and have the option of aging in place. My father bought this house about 50 years ago when he added the section of the house in 1990 that suffered the recent water damage. That was his starting vision, to have multiple generations enjoy the house. And ironically, he ended up in a wheelchair. You never think it's going to happen to you, but his design didn't work for him. So he ended up in a wheelchair, and was very difficult for my husband and 2 other men to assist him when he was in the house. This house was mine and my husband's after my parents died. We have many good memories. My husband died in 2012. I can't imagine what it would have been for me if he had been in a wheelchair. Additionally, I would like you to know that we, my parents, my husband, and his parents, came to this country after the World War II. We brought paintings of historical value, by the way, from Lithuania. Additionally, I would like to know, you to know that my parents, my husband, and his parents came to this country after the war. We brought paintings of historical value and our cultural heritage with us. Many of those paintings, which hung in the house, were sadly permanently damaged. My daughter and I have a vision to restore some of our Lithuanian heritage to the house and to preserve a place for the other older people. Some years ago, my cousin came regularly from Lithuania, and we once housed the Lithuanian Olympic basketball team. This is because I am connected to this very important time in history. My cousin recently died, but there are others and more relatives that are older who remember the war, who would like to visit me at the house. They are my extended family. I do not have grandchildren, but do have many close friends who actually gravitated to DC after the war. And I maintain contact with them. We have an embassy now instead of a legation, which we had then, because now we're independent again. So that's all I have to say. I want my old house restored.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Not from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And this is Victoria Scarpa, her daughter.
Hi, I'm the daughter.
Fred.
Right.
No, hold on.
Name and address, please.
Victoria Ruta Scarpa. My current address is 555 Northeast 15th Street, Miami, Florida, 33132.
Ms. Scarpa, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
You may go ahead.
Oh, okay. So as you heard my mom, and as you know a little bit about the story, the house suffered severe water damage in February of this year. I've been the one on the front lines, so yes, I can confirm it's a shell. That's all it is. Which, yes, back to the drawing board. And I also wanted to, there was a lot of talk of the 10 bedrooms. Current existing bedrooms is 8. So it is, and I believe, now I'm not a code perfectionist, but I believe it's considered single family, but 2 family, because it's a lot and a half. It's not one single lot. So that has enabled it to be large. So anyway, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I think I'm correct. Anyway, speaking to the application for the variance, I have lived away from my parents for the vast majority of my life. I'm now 55. My mom is elderly, as you can see. This catastrophe has sort of forced us to reframe a lot of things, including the next, foreseeable future. Including mine. So my intent is to move back into the house during the construction, after the construction, and also bring my mom and have an opportunity to enjoy her at this time in her life. So that's one intention that I wanted to share with you. you know, as much as I love my mom, I also like a little separation. So that's part of the design as well, to be able to accommodate multiple people with different needs without necessarily stepping on top of each other and having that flexibility. Let's see, what else did I want to share with you? Yes, it has been a rental. I'm happy to answer any questions about that concern you or whatever. I'm happy to be transparent about that. That has also helped my family. As we all know, Rehoboth has changed a lot. That's helped us over the years. We are super grateful that was never the case when my grandfather bought the house. I don't think there was a single rental except for the hotels back then. And my mom also did speak to the paintings that I dealt with, trying to restore them. Most of them are moldy, and that's that. They're gone. So part of the intent, it was a little bit like a museum, even as a rental. Part of the intent is to preserve that. There's no other place to do that. You need wall space, you need space to display all of those things. So that's the other thing that I wanted to share with you. And me personally, I was a little girl. I was probably about 8 years old, going to the beach, doing the whole thing. Saw my grandfather build the house, saw my grandfather in the wheelchair, saw my father get cancer, fortunately never in a wheelchair, and navigate all those multi-generational things we deal with. All of us will one way or another. I recognize that it's difficult to grant a variance, and however, I do feel that growing something of that nature is unusual, desirable for the people that live there, and super positive for a place like Rehoboth that doesn't have a lot of that, doesn't have a lot of accessibility. Had you asked me 10 years ago, would I want a house that had accessible features, I probably would have said no. But now I've sort of changed my mind about that. So there you have it. That's pretty much my spiel, and you're welcome to ask me any
Thank you.
questions that you want. Yeah.
Any questions?
Not from me. I'm good.
Okay. Thank you. Sure.
Could I ask a question?
Certainly, Fred.
So, can you tell us how the water damage occurred?
A pipe burst on the third floor, so therefore the water was cascading down the entire front face of the property. And it was this past winter, which was one of the worst winters I think Delaware's ever seen. So then part of it froze, which expanded and just busted, just made a complete disaster.
No one was in the house at the time?
Not at the time, they were not. Yeah, we found out later. Yeah.
I can attest, Fred, that 4 days is enough to destroy.
Water damage is the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah, fires, well, none of it's good, but yeah.
Actually, water ends up being worse than fire.
Yeah, I've learned a ton about it at this point.
We had the same reaction, which is how can that be?
Yeah.
But once it gets absorbed, it molds, and then there's literally you're down to the rafters.
Yeah, the mitigation was unbelievable.
That's awful.
Yeah, I mean, we had really nice people, so we were very lucky in that regard.
Question for, talk to me about on SD 101, bedroom number 3, the non-ADA. That's the non-ADA bedroom on the first floor.
Oh, correct.
I mean, is
Like,
that,
for
is
example-
that a must-have?
SD 103?
On 101, excuse, did I say 3? I meant 101. Bedroom number 3, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That one, yeah.
Mistake.
Well, it certainly maximizes the intention. I mean, having a house in Rehoboth isn't even necessary, you know, so if we speak about necessary, kind of everything goes out the window, right? But in terms of the intent and in terms of having someone there, someone capable, I think it works well for the, works well for the flow of the house, works well for the intention, because I know why Edie got confused, because I was confused initially with the stacking of the 3 levels, but all the square footage for this change, this variance, it's all on the first floor. The original house had very inefficient room usage. So, I mean, you could do laundry there, you know, all the household tasks are going to be made easier by that person.
But
That could be me.
and that could be right up the steps. I mean, where my head is at on this is putting 3 bedrooms in versus making 2 ADA, rearranging it. I mean, you know, dining rooms not a super neat, and you know, if you look at Rehoboth, everything's open floor plan now, open.
True, but playing out what you're saying. So let's say we took that away. We're still requesting a variance.
Understood.
Okay.
Understood. I'm just wondering, you know, it might be a lesser, because we're already over FAR, and now we're adding more over FAR. And again, if you look at our perspective, we're protecting the city, we're protecting the land. When you sell it, if you sell it,
I understand.
you know what comes in here. You know,
I do
you know,
understand.
Yeah.
But I want to say something about that, if I may. And I'm not sure if I'm mistaken, because we went over the existing FAR with a fine-tooth comb. And we had, with the existing, we had the capacity to add, like, I think 87 or 90 square feet. So to my knowledge, the existing FAR is within the expected lot and a half.
No, because you don't go, after 5,000, it's only 0.3.
You're 212 square feet over right now.
See, you get 0.6 for the first 5,000, that's your 3,000.
Okay, I will defer to Freddie because
I
that
mean,
was,
the reason why we bring this up is, you know, in the training we get from Delaware, it's that variances are minimal.
I know.
A foot over, 2 foot over, you know, 10 foot, whatever the number is, and then here we are asking in the hundreds of square feet, and it adds bulk to the property.
I think what we're asking, if I'm not mistaken, is the maximum that would be permitted within the city limits.
No.
For a double lot.
No, it's not, but it's not, you're not double lot, you're 1.5.
1.5, correct.
The math is actually pretty straightforward. It's 0.6 for the first 5,000, that's 3,000 square feet. And then it's 0.3 after that. So that's why your 3,750 is your
total.
maximum today. You're over 3,900.
You're at 3,962 now, and your maximum on that lot is 3,750, no matter what.
Okay, well, I will take your word for it, and I'll let him.
The mistake you're making, a lot of people make, which is they take the 0.6
And think it's
they
so
apply it to the whole thing.
Right,
It's
and it's-
only 0.6 for the first 5,000.
Okay.
That's to prevent people who have double lots from building these gigantic 0.6, massive homes.
So
and that's why.
you're over several hundred feet. And you're asking
212.
to go over 700 feet with a porch,
And one of
way
the
over.
one of the choices that Grandpa made was to go to the 3rd floor.
Right.
And had it been now years later, that's less desirable. Even though, I mean, we have a 3rd floor that's
Understood.
nice.
And
Of course.
and as you know, we have height restrictions as well.
Yes,
so-
I know you do now. Yes.
Yeah, but
Okay.
the FAR is the entire house. That's one thing. That's where your 3,962 is today.
Right.
Then you also have lot coverage.
Right.
So if you didn't have the 3rd floor, given the fact you're up against some of the setbacks anyway, you could pull the house forward.
Right.
And if you wanted to get rid of the 3rd floor, That's obviously your choice. But I'll also say, since we're talking, yes, your architect can bring that ceiling down. When you sell it, somebody can, in fact, go and take that out. They are not going to come and ask for a permit, because that's not what happens in this city. And then all of a sudden, which is why there's a limit actually on very high ceilings. It doesn't really apply to the third floor here, but I think one of the issues that Edie and I were exchanging notes on is that third floor, your architect is bringing the ceiling down artificially in order for it not to count against the FAR. Somebody else can walk in there, not get a permit, take those joists out, and all of a sudden you're going to have another 450 square feet. You're going to have a 5,000 square foot house, which is frankly unheard of in this town on a 7,500 square foot lot. That's
one of your
yeah,
concerns.
that's
I
the
see.
concern that you're going to hear us saying, because once you get the variance, it runs with the
It
property.
stays forever.
Forever.
I understand.
Could you explain a little bit about the pavers? We're adding a concrete walk, or not pavers, but a concrete sidewalk, 355 square feet. Any idea of what you were doing just to reduce?
Yes.
I'm going to let him answer that
Yeah.
one. I'll keep,
Thank you. You could stay there if you want.
Okay.
Thank you.
yeah, keep asking me questions.
Yes, thank you for your testimony.
Thank
If
you.
I may address one issue, what you talk about with the, closing off that attic space. There was talk among Ms. Skirpa and ourselves to actually get a volume ceiling in this second floor here, so we could actually remove any floor joists, any ceiling joists, anything that, can be constructed down the road, and put a cathedral ceiling in this bedroom down here.
If you
So
go
we could-
over 12 feet, right, isn't there an extra
Yeah,
charge against that?
Yeah, it's an extra charge
It
against
actually
the
flips
FAR.
the other way.
Okay, well,
We had a case like that took forever, but frankly, I believe once you go over 12 feet, there's a penalty on the SA.
It's counted as double.
Yeah.
okay, but we could still, actually said, remove all the floor joists and everything and put a low ceiling that doesn't exceed 12 feet. So we could actually put rafters in there and give them a 12-foot cathedral ceiling in that area. So, I mean, if that's what, like I said, we're willing to make concessions, anything we need to do to make this work, because we really need to, get this done. Yeah, we can do, there's a lot of things we can do to bring this down and make it so that it's never really going to be built again. So, addressing your question, sir, we have already talked, and I know this is kind of jumping ahead with our design, but Ms. Skirpa is looking to remove this patio and driveway, and we're looking to do, as a number of people have done, is putting runners in there. We're also looking to take, and I said to Corey that we will provide, and we have an actual survey from a surveyor that actually has a breakdown of square footage. There's some planters and other items in around the site and pavers in around the site that we will remove to get that area calculation down. But mainly by this driveway. This driveway is 919 square feet, as you can see. And of course, the patio is 335 square feet. So that's 1,200 square feet. That's nothing compared to the 500 we need to get out of there. So,
Okay. All right, thank you.
sure.
All right, any other questions from the board? Okay, at this point, I want to acknowledge that we did receive correspondence, and everyone looked at it beforehand. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak for or against the variances? You can come up and get sworn in, please.
Should I sit down, or do you want me to stay up here?
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I can stay here in case any questions come up.
You have 5 minutes of testimony, please.
Name and address.
Oh, that's right.
Dave Diefendorfer, 113 Newcastle Street.
Mr. Diefendorfer, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony given in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. I understand this board is all volunteers. You guys do a great job. I appreciate it. The city appreciates it. So I fully support ADA. None of us are getting younger. I understand that. My wife and I always try to be great neighbors. Take care of the neighbors on the street. We help everybody out. We live here. We moved here 5 years ago during COVID. My grandfather built the house in 1933. So I actually knew her father. He was a great architect, I believe out of DC. I just have to say a couple things that I have to, I'm against this variance 100%. And I'll go through several of the reasons. The applicant spoke about aging in place. I totally understand that, and I understand. And I agree with that. I sympathize. We've talked about the rental license ad nauseum. This house has been a rental for the past 4 to 5 years. And I take exception, and I don't want to disparage anybody, I take exception to what the architect says. It's been a rental for 4 or 5 years, and there's been people in there all the time. So when that happens, there's 3 to 4 cars parked in the lot. Sometimes there's tents in the lot where they're cooking breakfast and dinner out there because some of the rentals across the street will come together as a gathering place and hang out in the front yard. It's more like a tailgating place or a Dewey Beach. Now, I understand. I understand that you come here to have fun in Rehoboth. I get that. But we live right across the street. We live here. And we all know the issues with rentals. And I understand that they may intend to come back, which is fabulous. But once you grant this exception, as we've all talked, it stays there permanently. And if they sell it, then we have a 8, 9, 10 bedroom house, whatever the number is going to be. Okay. I think there's a couple things, we've talked about this, a couple things that are misleading about this request. The drawings show on the ground floor, as you guys pointed out, 3 bedrooms proposed. And then up on the second floor, it's bedrooms 3 and 4. Well, again, somebody else mentioned that, it's 4 and 5. And on the west side, it doesn't show any interior. And I was thinking it was 2 bedrooms, but actually I've learned today it's 4 bedrooms. So again, we've talked about the numbers of bedrooms, 8 to 10. It varies depending on what it is. Okay, covered that one. And then we already talked about the kid rooms. I don't need to go through that again. But we could have anywhere from 8 to 10 bedrooms in this house. And so when they if somebody comes and rents that, imagine the number of cars. The next thing that is a little bit misleading, because I went through a major renovation after we came here and moved in. We renovated the house. The thing that's misleading that the elevator is too expensive. Well, quite honestly, I find that hard to believe. We priced out elevators when we were doing it. We had the house designed, so we could put an elevator in there if we need to.
We did not, sorry, there was no mention of an elevator. It was a chairlift.
I believe in the letter to the board.
Okay, yeah,
That was
thank
talked
you.
about elevator. Yeah, okay. So you could put an elevator in there. That's another possibility. And finally, like we talked about, the code, right now, we're at 30, well, I've lost track now, 3962 square feet, I believe, what it is right now. So we're already over FAR. And if this is approved, they'll sit at 59.5% of FAR. So that's pretty big. I mean, how big is big enough? And like we mentioned, the exceptions stay there. And so one last thing is, again, I'm not trying to disparage anyone, but I'm looking out for my property. So I own a property on that street right across from them. If you have a 9 or 10 bedroom house across from me, then what does that do to my property values? And that's all I have to say. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for.
Is there anyone else? Please come forward. Be sworn in.
Yes, my name is Maurice Adams. Own property at 125 Newcastle Street, right down the street from David Diefendorfer.
Very good. Mr. Adams, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Please proceed.
My grandfather built our home in 1940, and so we're very familiar with Rehoboth and Newcastle Street. Everything that David just said is true. My observation of that particular property that we're talking about, has not been owner occupied. It's been a rental property, exactly what you would expect with however many bedrooms, 8 or 9 or 10 bedrooms. Right now, just a lot of cars, a lot of activity on the front yard, you know, games, kids, that sort of thing. What you'd expect with weekly rentals. Ironically, directly to the left, facing the house, directly to the left, it used to be owned by Ray Wilson. There's now a eight-bedroom structure. Same sort of thing, weekly rental, a lot of cars, a lot of people, parties, you know, just a lot of activity that you would expect. So that's been my observation over the past few years of this particular property. It seems to me a stair lift, an elevator would be a viable option in light of the situation that we're talking about. That's about all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wish to speak? Okay, we're going to close down the public commentary, and the board will now discuss amongst ourselves. On this one, I mean, one of the, you know, I'm speaking to the board now. The trend we see, I mean, it's the success of Rehoboth Beach in the fact that when you get to these larger homes with more bedrooms and the rent is so high that we all see jamming multiple families in, which means many, many more cars than we would ever expect the infrastructure to handle. So it's kind of like you get over to this point where the bigger it gets worse. So I'm feeling for the other homeowners on Hickman Street. I'm just stuck. Hickman. That's where I live. On Newcastle. It's just the 3 bedrooms. I'm just stuck with. You know, I have no, like I said, I have no issue with the front porch, but that addition, putting, I mean, a dining room in. I mean, like I said, but the way homes are designed now, these open concepts, you need a kitchen, a living space, maybe a small dining area, or just stools around a bar. I just think the FAR is exceeded way, I was going to say way too far on the FAR, but, you know, it's just too much, is where my head's at on this. Again, I like the porch, understand there might be a need for a variance, but there are alternatives, I think, for that 3rd bedroom on the 1st floor. And I just think other solutions could be, there you are. There could be other solutions out there. I mean, that's just kind of where my head's at with this one. I get it, I understand it, I respect the ADA, and even needs for 2 ADA, but it's like we're just jamming too much into this, is the way where my head's at. I don't know how you guys how you feel.
Well, and if we granted a variance for this size, they might not build it, they might not build this.
That is correct.
They have the FAR to build whatever the heck they want.
Whatever they want.
And so this is, we could love this drawing, and that might not be what is actually happening also. I mean, there's always that.
Good point. Yep. And Rick, thoughts on this case?
Well, you know, I can't, my position that I articulated in, you know, the previous application, you know, in my view is also applicable here. I think.
Speaking to the mic, quick then.
Yeah.
Sorry. I do think that there are some problems with what's being proposed in terms of adding to the bulk of this property. I also understand, you know, the need to accommodate aging in place, but I think there are ways to deal with it without making a non-conforming asset more non-conforming. And as we've stated, we are the guardians of land and the character of this community and its individual neighborhoods. And I simply see this as being a little bit too much. I sympathize, but that's not a reason to grant a variance that will last forever.
I have a few other comments if Rick's finished. He has. So the current FAR is 212 square feet over. So that's a 6% increase over what's okay. The requested FAR, 712 square feet, is over by 19%. This cannot be, in my view, looked at as a minimal request when you're talking about a 19% over what's acceptable by FAR. And I too have heard and empathize with the applicants, but we often deal in inches in here, not 712 square feet, as Barry said. And I'm worried about the bulk. I'm worried about the increase in bulk, and as Rick said very well a moment ago, the taking a non-conforming, significantly non-conforming, and making it very significantly non-conforming, going the other way, going back down the road. That's where my head is. I don't know where Bill's thinking.
Bill?
Yeah, I agree with both earlier comments, and as I said to the applicant, I more than sympathize, empathize with having lived through a water destruction of the house. It does, however, give you a blank slate, and frankly, in some ways, you have more flexibility to address the ADA issues than you would have had you not had that tragedy. Because you don't have the doorways to knock down and everything else. It's done. I lived through that. We literally got down to the rafters and discovered that the prior owners had left out a steel beam, among other things, but spent a year and a half on rebuilding the house. So the 712 is frankly way too much. But the situation you're in makes it actually hard to get to the exceptional practical difficulty because you have a blank slate. Right. You basically can rebuild that house to do exactly what you want. And as everybody has previously said, if you come back to us and it's 50 or 100 feet, it's something we can look at. But 712 feet over where you're already over, and where you're not in the situation that most people in Rehoboth are in, which is you're aging in place, you do want to get a chairlift or something else, you have that house, and then you're coming to us and saying, I need a back stairs or something else, because otherwise I have to knock the house down. You've effectively knocked the house down because of the water tragedy. So I don't see the exceptional practical difficulty in the situation. We take what's given us. Your situation is you can build whatever you want. You have the footprint that you preserve, so you get the benefit of the FAR and the old footprint because you don't lose that with it. So you have 3,900 square feet to work with. And I think where I am is you need to come back to us with something, either maybe you don't need any variance or something that's way, way less than what you're doing, because you can't, to me, you can't make the exceptional practical difficulty given the situation you're in, because you have the ability to redo the entire inside of the house, make it work for the different generations. I will say, I think everybody has said this, and your neighbors have said this, 8 to 10 bedrooms, whether it's 8 or 10, is an issue for every neighbor in every street in Rehoboth.
Yes.
Because people do rent them out. As Barry said, it's so expensive. You end up with 2 or 3 families who then have their friends who are staying in hotels come, and you end up with these enormous events. We can't bar it, but we certainly don't have to make it easier, frankly, and that's what you're asking us to do. So this is not any lack of sympathy or empathy with the situation, nor certainly at my age, not understanding the aging in place. But you need to go back to the drawing board, in my view, and come back with something either that does need a variance or something that is way, way more limited than what you're proposing.
Okay. All right, can I get a motion from someone on the board?
I move to deny the variance because using the quick check factors as a check, the nature of the zone would allow, the character of the immediate vicinity would allow, but not, once again, stuck with numbers 3 and 4. Removing the restriction would seriously affect the neighboring properties because this would increase the bulk of that property by 19% over its allowable FAR. So significantly, rather than reducing the bulk. And as we know, it sits with it forever if we grant it. And number 4, the exceptional practical difficulty for owner. I agree with my colleagues. I can't find it. I can't find an exceptional practical difficulty. The reasons given seem theoretical rather than of a theoretical nature. They're wants, they're not absolute needs. And as you said so well a minute ago, Bill, they have a blank slate. They could have one bedroom on that floor, take all the rest as an open, one ADA and all the rest open. I mean, I'm not going to solve it. I'm not an architect, but that could be the living room and the kitchen and everything on that floor. But it could be anything, which is nice, as you said. It could be anything.
I wouldn't wish it on anybody,
No,
but it does happen.
no, but it could. And there also does not seem to be an attempt by the owner, or a really considered attempt to look at alternate compliant or more compliant plans. We've heard reasons why the plan that they've submitted is or are what we should consider, but we really haven't heard about alternatives that might work from their end. So that's a long motion. I mean, it's a motion with a long justification.
You added your
but that's-
justification.
Yes, that's my justification.
Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, all right, Rick, we'll start with you.
I vote to deny the variance request for the reasons that Edie has stated. We are back to the same provisions again. 3 and 4 just can't be met, in my view, for the reasons that we've been discussing. And I believe that this is more of a want than a need, and I am sympathetic to that. My grandmother came from Lithuania, and I wish they were still around and we could celebrate all of those holidays. But I think with the existing residents and the size, which already exceeds FAR, that there are alternatives. You can still have a dining room. You can still have a place for your friends to gather. Adding another 712 square feet to the bulk of this property is just inconsistent with what the city is attempting to stop. It's inconsistent with our CDP, and I can't vote for a variance that has that many inconsistencies with code and our CDP. It just goes against the grain, and it does not meet all 4 of the quick check tests.
Thank you, Rick. Edie, your vote on
I
your
vote to
motion?
deny for all the reasons that I gave in my justification for making the motion.
And, okay, thank you, Edie. But back to Rick for a second. So you vote in favor of the motion, which is to deny?
Yes.
Thank you. Bill?
I vote in favor of the motion to deny. I believe that neither quick check factor 3 nor 4 has been met for the reasons we've stated previously.
And I too, thank you, Bill. I too vote in favor of the motion. Edie made a good point, like theoretical. Obviously, ADA bedroom number 1, it's an exceptional practical difficulty. Theoretically, you probably need ADA bedroom number 2. We don't have any evidence or proof of that. But the biggest thing for me is, like Bill said, quick check factors number 3 and 4. This is just so far over the FAR. I do see other alternatives. I do see potential design things you could do. I would think adding a front porch to that property would be beautiful. Another big gathering, you get a great gathering space. And work in at ADA bedroom, but I just think it's just too much on this property that's already oversized. So the motion passes for nothing. Thank you for coming today, and hope you can come up with a solution that works. Thank you. Okay, officers. So now this is our time of year that we have to vote on the officers for the board. At this point, I'm going to make a nomination for Edie to continue on as secretary. Can I get a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Quit
Can I
Edie.
vote on that? I'm happy to take it if you want me to do that.
Okay, I'll do vice chairman. I did talk to Jan. She would be happy to serve again. So I'd like to nominate Jan Conacy as the vice chairman.
I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now, I'm really open for chairman, if anyone.
Okay, I'm going to grab the microphone and nominate Barry to remain as chairman. He's been a great leader, and
Yes.
Thank you.
And I
Super job.
thank you for your service.
I'll second that motion.
Oh, Rick
Thank you.
seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Corey?
Did you want it to be aye?
That's okay. Thank you. All right, Marco, thank you so much. Corey, thank you very much.
Yeah, Marco.
Appreciate it. And I think make a motion to adjourn?
I think it is,
Well, just,
yeah.
I've been with the planning commission, kind of letting them know things that are on the horizon.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
There's only one case that I know of that's, I'm 99% sure it's on the horizon, that deals with the Waterside Properties LLC at Virginia Avenue. This is the one, if
A piece of land that the planning
they
commission, okay.
the
intended
one on the other
to try
side
to
that- yeah.
purchase part of the city open space
Yeah.
that failed. So working through what they can, likely property owner will come in here for a variance in the coming months.
You think November?
Probably not,
would
December at the earliest.
January 12th.
Or excuse me, that's right, because there were no meetings in
December, and we-
That's right, I'll make sure, I'm glad we brought that up.
Let them know.
So most likely January then at the
It's
earliest.
January 12th is the meeting.
January 12th,
Yeah,
okay.
it's not the fourth Monday, unlike the others.
So likely not anything in November?
No, not that I've received
You would have
or
had to
have been
get-
working with.
You would have had to get some of the scuttlebutt already, wouldn't you,
For that
hypothetically?
30-day public
Yeah.
notice
Yeah,
period.
it would be
You
soon.
have like a week or at least a few days.
Yeah,
don't
maybe
you,
a couple.
To get something published.
Correct, yeah.
It's November.
It's 22 days for a public notice.
November 27th? November 27th would be the board?
Is it
Or is that
26th?
too
Just a
late?
minute, I
No,
have
that's
my
Thanksgiving.
calendar.
That's Thanksgiving, yeah,
I think it's the 24th.
yeah.
Yes, it's the 24th.
He's
It's
got
the-
to, see, he has a calendar in front
It's
of
the
him. We
20,
don't.
Already the
it's the
27th.
24th, and it's already, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's
so
likely
So it's
not.
very, very unlikely we'll have anything.
For November. All right, make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, happy Thanksgiving,
May
everyone.
not have another meeting this year, though.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you.